This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Immediately!
You know, that's just one step above stupid. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? This guy may be like the dumbest person on the face.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Did you hear what I said?
Hey, what's going on, freakazoids? Not sure where Blue is right there. Where you at, Blue? Yeah. We got this little fly zapper, and Blue's scared of the fly zapper, if you can believe that. Alright, so what we're attempting to do right now is to have a show during the evening that's rational about the Bryan Kohberger case. We've got these channels out there that are just popping up, discussing it in such a weird, irrational, just sort of willy-nilly, not coming up with anything, you know, panel-driven shows. So we're just going to try to go over it where it's, you know, where it makes sense to everybody. Because I actually got I had Jennifer, I think it's Coffin Daffer, watch my video that I just made, and she said, wow, that really does make a good case there for the probable cause being accurate. I can't remember the exact term. It was something like that. But let me go try to find it. Because I've been communicating with her. She's got me a couple documents on other cases, but I don't, man, some of the stuff she's put on I was on different shows has been a little weird. Says, thank you, I did watch, and this is terrific work. If true, it further supports the PCA as well as you well state. Thank you. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, it shows that, you know, somebody that's an official from previous work thought it was good, right? Like, okay, boom, there it is, right? Yeah, she's cool and everything, but there's some of the stuff that she entertains on other channels that are I don't really understand that part. You know, that's what I'm saying. You don't understand, like, entertaining that the other guy with the initials BK might be the killer and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna only just go over some stuff here because I watched it, didn't believe it. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, for those of you who were following along with the Zav girl, I told her to make an apology 3 days ago, and instead of doing that right away and sort of nipping it in the bud, so to speak, she put out one today written by an attorney. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't work at all. It's but, excuse, and just, you know. It's insane, everybody. But that's it. All right? I hope people drop it now. Because it's really taking up a lot of space in sort of the true crime arena that doesn't deserve any space at all. I mean, there's other cases out there. This one is one that's been pretty big that we've been following for a long time. But earlier in the day, we covered 2 cases that nobody ever talks about, and nobody will ever talk about them because they keep talking about Zav Girl over and over and over again. Yeah, the apology sucked, but it was an apology, and now the whole thing. See, here's the thing. This is the deal. If she had just came forward and said, I made a huge mistake. That was the most ludicrous thing that I've ever done, and I don't have any words. I can't apologize anymore. I have no excuses. If you want to still support me, you can. If you don't, I totally understand. Thank you. Just like that. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all. I mean, see how good that would work? Because some people would go, wow, that was sincere and didn't blame anybody else but themselves, and people could maybe forgive her at some point, right? But that's not how people do it. Everybody seems to apologize that way. And, you know, I'm not even saying, sometimes when you do something, you're apologizing, but you kind of don't feel like you did something wrong. You guys have all done that in relationships, so it's hard to ever give that version. But when you have something so egregious like this, I think that's when you have to do those types of things. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? You're in a relationship and you didn't really do something wrong, so it's hard to just fully say, I accept full responsibility, you know? Or something that's just sort of an opinion. This isn't one of those. This is pure, there's no out. So anyways, here we go. Let me get rid of this thing off the screen there. Yeah, we know. I've mentioned that 1,000 times on my show, but nobody cared. Now it's all the rage. You know, I've talked about, how many times did I mention how disgraceful she was during the Kylie Rodney case? Okay, you remember that? Like 1,000, and nobody cared. So don't start going, oh, I didn't know, man. Okay, give me a break. Hey, look at this, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming, sub Crystal, the longest name in YouTube history. Yeah. All right, so you guys want to see how I sort of edited together. Oh, did you hear that? He edited it. That means it's not real. He edited it. Now I have to go find it. Oh yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to, you know when you organize stuff and you organize it and you're so clever when you're organizing it, and then when you're ready to find it, your organization led to you never finding it again. Everybody's done that. I know it. Come on. Every single one of you. Okay, it's not in there. Oh, that's right. I think it was on the 12th. There we go. Found it. Jesus, that was terrible. Yeah. Everyone goes, you're just jealous, Gray. Go troll somewhere else. Well, you didn't miss anything. Okay, so here we go, everybody. Look at this. So everybody knows the Bryan Kohberger Idaho 4 case currently, right? I mean, there's nobody that's confused about like what happened or when and all this kind of stuff, you know. November 13th, 2022, Ethan Chapin, Zana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez were all, I think it's Zana Kernodle, excuse me, and Kaylee Gonzalez were all murdered at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, at between, I would say, 4:08 and 4:17, 9 minutes, something like that. Hold on. And then right at the beginning, there were, there was all kinds of stuff going on at the beginning of the case where people were looking into every single person. Now, I speculated at one point that, perhaps, because they said it was a crime of passion, possibly, and that it was, and then they started putting out information about phone calls late at night, right before the murders. And so I speculated that maybe the boyfriend had something to do with it. But I didn't say his name at the time, nor did I say I didn't say this is who did it. I said, I wonder if it's possible. This is a scenario. Listen to this. It was a theory. Right, exactly. And there's a big difference there. And it's the way you present it that's different. If you start going and saying stuff like, hey, wow, you guys, I don't know, man, this guy's really dodgy. I don't know, but I tell you what, and you start going on and on and on like that, that's a huge... What are you talking about, Zozo? Jesus. I have no idea what you're saying. It's, there's people, that's just how it works out there. And law enforcement was looking into the same person, and they didn't clear him until he was the last person cleared, and for some reason they put out the information about the phone calls late at night that he never answered, and so, it seemed like a reasonable, but it was totally wrong, okay? It had nothing to do with anything, nor did any of the other people that were, that came walking to the grub truck, Jack. He was just walking with them the whole time. You could sort of see that in the video. I never thought he had anything to do with it. Just maybe barely for a minute, like, look at, he's kind of weird how he's standing back there looking. But when you watch the whole video in totality, he came in with them. And then it seemed more like he was sort of chaperoning them at some point. Okay, and then people started thinking, oh, it was the person who drove them home after that, the drive. Well, no, they actually came home, and then there was a bunch of phone calls made. So that sort of throws that out the window, and then it was just nothing. And then all of a sudden, one day, there's an arrest made. It was amazing. And it turns out that the person they arrested was Bryan Kohberger. And I couldn't wait to start getting information on it. Because usually when you have the FBI and law enforcement involved, they pretty much nail it down. They know what they're doing. But instead of some people actually going, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Don, up there. Appreciate it. Instead of some people thinking to themselves, man, this is amazing. Let's just put together all the stuff in the probable, when the probable cause comes out, we can start putting it together. They can't let it go what their original ideas were. It's called confirmation bias. They just, oh, no, or tunnel vision. Like they had this person in mind, and this other person, it can't be Bryan Kohberger now, because the guy I thought it was so much more interesting. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's weird. So the freaks here, all the freaks that normally watch the show, there's some new people here. We've gone over the entire probable cause document 4 times now, from start to finish, and put a 1 if just about every time you go through it, you're going, oh wow, it's worse for him, because it really instills in your mind the timing and everything like that. Now look at this part right here. Yeah, so this is what I put together out of the probable cause document, and it looks like it's all part of one sentence, but like one page, but I just put it together out of order, all right? Because there's things that would be better seen if they were in a specific order here. So let's just go through this right here. It says, a review of that video indicated that approximately this is in Pullman, Washington. There was video that at 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1. So here's the thing. At 2:44 in the morning, there's a white Elantra driving around. There's probably not very many white Elantras driving around at 2:44 in the morning in Pullman, Washington. I mean, can we all just agree with that? Like, there's not a lot of people living there. And let's just say there's 100 white Elantras on the campus there. At 2:44 in the morning, there probably aren't a lot moving around. Right? Doesn't that just kind of make sense? Like there isn't 15 of them or 4 or 8 moving around. If there is any, it's like 1 or 2, maybe, right? All right, so then it's also seen at 2:53 driving around. first it goes kind of north up on a little road, and then south, and it heads towards highway, towards SR 270. So if we were looking at the map here in Pullman, here's exactly what I was just saying. It was right here on Nevada Street, seen on a camera going this way. So it probably did something where it looped around, maybe even came back like this, sat over here for a minute. We don't know what it did. There's 9 minutes of missing time. Then it comes down here. Who knows what it did? And then it's right here going south at 253, probably seen on the exact same camera. Like it one time it goes like this, maybe another time it goes like that. But it's the same white Elantra that they believe is suspect vehicle 1. Now this is 253. Now we're almost at 3 in the morning. There's probably even less Elantras moving around. Then apparently it goes this way and probably makes its way down to 270. When I say probably, Gray, you keep saying probably. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly where it drove because there's no cameras in here. All right, but here's another thing. That when we go back to this document that I have out here, it says on November 13, 2022 at approximately 2:42 a.m., Kohberger's phone, so this is the same time frame. Look up here, 2:44, 2:53, it's pinging around in Pullman, Washington. Now look at right here, that's why I edited these together. Also on that day, Kohberger's phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to his apartment complex. And then at 2:47, which is 5 minutes later, Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of Kohberger's residence. That means his phone is on the move. Okay? So if his phone's on the move, and that's 2:47, look at that. It's right in between the 2:44 and 2:53. That is likely his vehicle, because guess what? At 2:47, it says right here, at approximately 2:47, Kohberger's phone stops reporting to the network because it was turned off. So that means between 2:44 and 2:53, his phone pings at 2:47 off of a tower, but then it was turned off. That's why there's no more pinging. Now it's just on video at this point. Do you guys get that? Does that make sense to everybody, or are we just typing away really fast? Does that make sense? Hello? Yeah, that right there is incredible circumstantial evidence right there that at 2:42, Kohberger's phone is utilizing the resources at his apartment. Then it moves out of there. It would have kept pinging off the same tower, right? But then it moves to a different tower at 2:47. That means he's on the move. Then he turns his phone off at 2:40. You know what he probably did then? When he took this north right here on this little road, he went over here and he sort of sat around and he got his last plans in order. Then he turned off his damn phone at 2:47, which is only 3 minutes after this. Sat over here in some crazy, maybe even this parking lot over here. Who the hell knows, right? Drove over here, sits in this parking lot, puts his last plans together, turns off his telephone, then he comes back down and comes this way at 2:53, boom, and he heads over to Moscow, Idaho, okay? So after that, his phone is completely turned off. Then let's see, so it's 5:53, so that's 7 minutes up there, and then 20, so 26 plus 7, 33 minutes later, his car, the same white Elantra, suspect vehicle 1, is seen right here on 700 Indian Hills Drive. Okay, just 33 minutes later. What route he actually took, or did he wait somewhere, I don't know. But there is a camera right there on this house in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. So that was 33 minutes later. Then the vehicle drives around like this, goes up exactly how I'm showing you here on Steiner Avenue. Then right here at, so that was 226 or 326 over there, and then this is 328 as it's passing the A&W here. If you go down to the street view here, you can look at it. Let's see if we back up over here, maybe one more look in there, and then over here you can see a bunch of cameras. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras facing out this direction. There's probably even some more over here. That's at 3:28. Then right after that, the vehicle 2 minutes later is, 2 to 3 minutes is what MapQuest would say. They don't give you the seconds. Would come right over here, and it enters the area, and then at 3:30 and 40 seconds, 50 seconds, the vehicle is seen coming in here, making a loop, heading out, and then it comes back again at 3:39. Then it comes back again at 3:57-ish, something like that. And then it comes back at 4:05. And amazingly, what it says is the vehicle returns for the fourth and final time in the area at 4:04. I mean, look how amazing that is. The vehicle comes in the area again at 4:04. So let's just go back to this thing. So we have, I think I went pretty much through this. I'll get to the second half of this later because it ties it all together. And we go over here. And it says right here that a review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect 1, was observed traveling westbound on 700 block of Indian Hills. I just showed you that. That was at 3:26. And then it heads westbound on Steiner Avenue in Idaho State 95. That's the A&W area at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appeared the suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. So that's the one where they got a really clear look of the front license plate, and it's missing, just like people have in Pennsylvania, because you're only required to have the back license plate. Then right here, a review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. So these sightings show, so right after the 4:28 at A&W, it's seen coming close to the neighborhood. That started at 3:29. Oh man, this even shows it more. See that 3:29 right there, you guys? That's the same camera that got the 404 number. They're linking those up because they're saying the vehicle shows up in the area at 3:29. Remember the last one? The last one was at 4:04. So that's amazing, you guys, because now we can say, you can take the 4:04, see how that says 3:29, and then at 3:30 and some odd seconds it shows up behind the apartment complex. Now do 4:04, add the same minute and some odd seconds, and you're at 4:05. Is this making sense to you guys? I hope it is. Or maybe we could even show it on here. It's like really clear shit. So there it is, 3:29. 3:29 right here. There's the first pass. And look at it, it goes back here and right at 3:30 and 54 seconds. So it was 3:29 when it showed up in the area, and a minute and 50 seconds later it's seen on the camera right here. Okay, now let's just go over to the 4:04 one, because that's the next thing that's mentioned on the probable cause document. At 4:04 it shows up in the area. Now add a minute and 50 seconds. What time would that be? It would be 3:50 and 50 seconds. Let's see what happens. And look at that. I mean, is that ridiculous or what? I mean, 4:05 and 50 seconds, what I meant to say. Look at that. So it's 4:04. You add a minute 50, and you get to 4:05 and 50 seconds. It's exactly the same change here. So here it is, 4:05:51 is the last time, and in this one, in the probable cause document, it says, let me go, so let's just get through these in the correct order here. So it said 3:29 and ending at 4:20. These sightings show, man, that was cool. I just thought of that as we were doing this show. I was like, oh my God, that's what they mean. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by 1122 King Road. See, that's what's amazing about that is they tell you about the first one. That started at 3:29. First time it shows up on camera back there is at 3:30 and 50 seconds. They don't need to show you. They don't tell us where, they just say that there's 2 more. But the final one is at 4:04. So the other 2 are lumped into here. The other 2, the one at 3:39 and the one at 3:57-ish. Those are the other 2. The one at 4:04 is the last one. You add a minute 50 to that, and you're at 4:05 and 50 seconds. Absolutely incredible timing there if you literally do the math on it. Perfect. And then the car comes in here, and let's go to the last one here. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area 4th time at approximately 4:04. The first one was 3:29. And then a minute 50 later, it shows up on the camera. Minute 50 after this 4:04, it shows up on the camera. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around. We've gone over that. So let's see. Here it comes. I'll just play it on the screen. You can probably just see it. A 4th time at approximately 4:04. This is my video here. So, I mean, we don't have to see it. I can just show you on the screen here. It comes down like this. The vehicle drives down right below the taco. Hey, thanks, Zoe. I mean, you think that's ever been said before on a show? Now look at the car drives right underneath the taco you're looking at. Yeah, probably not, right? Thanks, Lisa Valenzuela and Nessie B. Yeah. Man, this is amazing. That just popped into my head, that 3:29 at a minute and a half, just like the other one. So here it goes. The car came in like this. At 4:04, it shows up probably over here. A minute and a half later, it drives over here, and just like the probable cause document says, right here.
I'm surprised these nudges haven't accused Mark Furman. I believe he lives in Idaho.
Yeah. Anyways, Mark Furman. Right here it says at 4:04 a.m. It's the last, I guess, loop. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road 52, number 52. So it comes into the area, and then right at 4:05:50, it turns around right in front of 500 Queen Road. Then it goes like this, and it tries to stop and turn around, but it can't. Then it comes here and does a 3-point turn. It says all this in the probable cause, and then it says it heads eastbound again. And guess what? Right after that, the white Elantra does what it did on the first 3 passes, goes down like this and around. Because I actually think those first 3 passes were not just sort of him surveilling. He would have gone in if the house was dark. All these trips around 331, 339, 357, those were all, let's see if the lights are off. Oh, they're not off. And he keeps doing the looping. He doesn't want to sit too long in one area. Then he finally comes back around on the 4:05, the 4:07. You'll see 4:05, he comes back here, and then he goes this way, and then at 4:07, he comes back around, and then he comes back and he parks again. See, I wouldn't be surprised if he literally parked here for all the variances that you see. You know, it only takes about 4 minutes or so to make the loop, so maybe he sat here for 3 minutes. And then the second loop he sat for 3 or 4 minutes. And then the third loop he sat for quite a bit longer, like 9 or 10 minutes, just watching, waiting, looking. Then he drove away again. And then he came back exactly the same amount of time as the other loops, about 8 or 9 minutes later. And he comes back, and then he drives back. That's where he does the turnaround. Then he does the 3-point turn, comes back, and then at 4:07 parks right there again for his final killing, because now he sees all the lights look like they're off. Maybe he's just done waiting. He sees that Kaylee and Madison's lights are off. Because remember, Dylan Mortensen said that by 4 they were all asleep. So he kept waiting and waiting for Dylan Mortensen and Kaylee Gonzalez. He didn't know Kaylee was there, but he was waiting for Madison Mogan's, what I meant to say, excuse me. Was waiting for Madison Mogan's light to turn off because he could see it right back here. Her room is right here. Right? That's where Madison Mogan's room is. Kaylee's is right there. So he parks over here and he just keeps waiting. And each loop he waits. They're still awake. God dang it. Comes back around. Man, they're still awake. Man, 10 minutes. Jesus, they're still awake. Finally, when he came around on the 4:07 loop, the lights are off and he's now making the move. Yeah, that's right. I didn't mean that. I meant right here. Yeah. Sorry about that. My brain just... I was actually looking at the deck going, that doesn't look like the deck. But yeah, it's right here is Madison's room. I must have slid the map over here. I was looking at this thing, I was like, that doesn't look right. But yeah, right here is where the car parked, and then this is Madison's room right here, and then Kaylee's room is at the top here, and Dylan Mortensen's right here too, but below Madison's room. There's 112 King Road. Yeah, sorry about that. Ugh. But don't you guys think that that's probably way more valid, that the vehicle pulled in, parked right here each time and just sat there and waited? Then backed up, drove away? I almost think that if you listen to the audio close enough, that if you figure out what the time is to do the loop and look at like, so 3:30, I'd say like 3:35 or so, there might be a sound of a car pulling away. Something like that. Yeah, I think that does make sense, doesn't it? Yeah, but Xana, he's not looking at Xana's room. You know, maybe it was for a little bit, but I think he's just driving back here looking at Madison's room, and he's going to go sneak through the door, the sliding glass door, and then go up the stairs, right? You know, he wasn't expecting to run into anybody. See, when you say but, it just doesn't make any sense. That's not what I said. Yeah. All right. So then the killing happens, right? And then he speeds away at a high rate of speed at 420. And then, based on the timing, comes out right around in this area at around 425 on Conestoga and I forgot the name of it. What's the name of this thing? Crap. Oh yeah, Palusa River Drive. So after coming down here, it takes a left, and then probably gets around in here like, 3:30-ish down here. But at 3:48, his phone, his literal Bryan Kohberger's phone, pinged right here. So tell me, how in the hell, if Bryan Kohberger is sleeping in his apartment over here, did his phone ping way down here by Blaine, Idaho? Now watch, some sleuthy, oh, Gray, those phones ping everywhere. Really? So there's no cell phone that would have taken it over. He just got really, really unlucky that a cell tower near Blaine, Idaho just happened to pick up his phone right at 4:48, almost exactly when you would expect his phone to be there. Very close to the time. There's some missing time here because I think he ditched some items. But why is his phone pinging right here? Then they keep seeing his phone pings all the way around in these areas. They didn't give us these other times, but it says his phone pinged in different areas consistent with it traveling in this direction. Then guess what, everybody? We go back to the original document that I was looking at, and it says right here, Bryan Kohberger's phone does not report to the network again until 4:48. So guess what he did? When he was in Moscow, Idaho, and after he killed them, he drove out and he went back on Highway 95, and then when he felt safe, he turned it on. 7 or 8 miles outside, he turned it on, dark outside. Maybe he's trying to figure out how to navigate these crazy back roads to use maps. And then his phone was pinging around the entire route. So at 8:48, at 48, my brain is just, it's the old COVID brain. That shit lasts a while. Things don't pop into your head as clearly as before. But anyways, Kohberger's phone does not report to the network again until 4:48. That's what I was in my mind. At which time it utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine. Between 4:50, 2 minutes after that, and 5:26, the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with his phone traveling south on Idaho State 95 to Genesee, then traveling west towards Uniontown, and then north back to Pullman. So why is his phone doing that? It's going like this. His phone is traveling down here, you guys. It's going down like this, and then it cuts across. Well, there's Uniontown, there's Genesee. So it comes down and does some kind of move across here. and then it goes up. And then it heads up in this direction. And then guess what happens again? It's amazing, everybody. Between 4:50 and 5:26, it kept pinging on the route home. The phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with Kohberger's phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, and then back to Pullman, Washington. Approximately 5:30 a.m., Kohberger's phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington. He literally drives into Pullman, Washington, and that's at 5:30. Now look at this. Once he pulls into Pullman, Washington, which is right over here, he comes up, I think that's on 195. He heads up in here. He pulls in there. His phone is pinging now off of towers, and here comes the white Elantra. 525, 525, 530, and like that's actually when he was, let's see, 5:30 a.m. Yeah, 5:30 a.m. utilizes resources in Pullman. That's just the generic one I have. So at 5:30, his phone's pinging in Pullman. But look at it, you have 527 Stadium Way, you have 525. So here we go again. The white Elantra is seen on these cameras, and his phone is now pinging again in Pullman. Don't you think this is like really simple shit here, you guys? Then later in the day, to put it all together, everybody, Bryan Kohberger, his phone, or first of all, his phone was pinging, and it came into this area, and it pinged at 12:36 at Cup of Joe, then at 12:36, at the very same time, 12:36, there's a camera on this business, I forgot the business name, in Cup of Joe right here. This right here was a camera, but Kohberger's phone, the phone number that he has, pinged on Cup of Joe. Now, he was probably still sitting in his bed, by the way, everybody. He was sleeping in that day, but his phone pinged like 30 miles away. It's okay. That happens all the time. Yeah, anyways, it connected to Cup of Joe right here, and then he was on camera. Then to put it all together, the white Elantra, the same vehicle they've been following and tracking all night and all day long on surveillance cameras, drives over here to the Albertsons, and lo and behold, who gets out of that same vehicle, linking now the Kohberger phone and the white Elantra? Well, it's Bryan Kohberger himself. He gets out at 12:46, goes into the building. He's seen on camera buying things. It is Bryan Kohberger, everybody. He comes back out at 1:04, gets into his car. Then he drives back, and his vehicle literally quit pinging. And this is in the evening. He turned it off this whole time. And it comes up here, and at 5:32 to 5:36, I believe, by Johnson, Idaho, it turned on for 4 minutes. What was he doing? What was he doing right there? Then it turns off, and it doesn't connect. It was off again until 8 at night when it pinged. It returned back to the network. Can I get a boom? I mean, give me a break, everybody. I mean, when you hear it, when you go over it correctly, it's just, to me, it's so obvious. It's crazy. And yes, you too. If you'd like to help support the Gray Hughes Investigates channel, you have an option up there to send in super chats. It helps support me to allow me to keep doing these shows. And also, at the end of each month, I donate over 50% of the net revenue. That just means after I pay taxes, I give over half to charities and a DNA fund. We just added a 12th slot for a new DNA case, so we have 12 cases that we're currently funding. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. But don't you just think that that is so simple? Okay, so here's the thing. How do you explain his cell phone going down to Lewiston, Idaho later in the day? So the killer took his phone, did something, and then brought it back because he's really nice? The killer is a really polite killer. Oh, by the way, no, it's not great. He was trying to pin it on him. Okay, if he was trying to pin the killing on Bryan Kohberger, why did he turn the phone off ever? Why wouldn't he just drive Kohberger's white Elantra, have his cell phone with him, and have the whole route mapped out perfectly? Like, leave it on the whole time. That's how you would really pin it on him. Oh, but they knew that would look too suspicious, that he never thought of turning it off, him being a criminology student. So we're going to... Yeah, give me a break. See? Yeah, hit the thumbs up, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. All right, so here we got the... there's a Zoom. Call in. Tell me how this isn't working. Or if you like it, call in. That's crazy. So just in short, I mean, the way I'm trying to think at this, just to make it really simple for people, is that before he left, his phone and a white Elantra match before the murders. Then 33 minutes later, the white Elantra matching the white Elantra that was just in Pullman shows up at 700 Indian Hills Road. Then, merely 2 minutes after that, that was 3:26, it shows up at A&W right here. Then a minute later, it's picked up on another camera at 3:29 that we don't know where it is, probably like right around in here. And then a minute 50 after that, the phone is back here, right? Then he commits the murder. The loops match absolutely perfectly with the probable cause. Then his phone by itself turns on again, and it pings at 4:48 down here by Blaine, Washington, or Blaine, Idaho. See that right there? That's Blaine, Idaho right there. So it pings down in this area, meaning that Kohberger's phone is now traveling away from Moscow. And then it comes down and it goes over here. And then later, his phone and the white Elantra appear at around 5:30 in Pullman, Washington. And his phone pinged all the way around going up this way. Doesn't that just tell you the story right there? No, he stopped for more than... What do you mean 4 minutes? What are you talking about? I just said there's about 15 minutes of missing time given the timing it would take to drive around. I'm just telling you, see, here's what I don't understand. There's other shows that sit around and they have all these mysterious questions and things, and when you look at this, isn't it, I mean, I know it's entertaining and sort of like, hey, this is so fun and neato, we're all looking at these random possibilities and so forth, but I don't even know why you would even bother when you see something like this. This is absolutely clear as you could possibly... I mean, I hate when people say, oh, it's clear. Those are usually people trying to, it's anything but. This is clear. I can't use another word. And like I've said before, like Zoe, or Zoe, whatever, Zoe413 just said, this case is actually sort of simple, other than, probably the technology and stuff they use. But the case itself, you've got a stalker, psycho, Bryan Kohberger, who, for whatever reason, picked a group of 4 college girls and likely was going to go over there and kill them all, or maybe just Madison Mogen. And it just happens to be that Kaylee Gonzalez and Ethan Chapin were there, and he didn't expect that. I mean, it's just so brutal what happened there, though. I mean, don't all support the channel at once, everybody. I mean, I don't want to, overwhelm the super chat button or anything like that. Yeah, they hate simple because then they can't do stories. You can't keep going, and that's the problem with it. And so, to be honest, that's why sometimes I don't get as many of the people trying to join the a chat or something, because it's like, yeah, this is kind of sort of simple, Jeez. Yeah, right. Crisscross. Isn't that amazing? It's just... I don't know what they're doing. I think Coffin Never had some post regarding that, like they were. Thanks for the logic wave, Amber Maiden. My pitch didn't seem to work. Thanks, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Now, when people say, "Gosh, Gray, you're trying to raise super chats and funds on your," yeah, because I don't know if you're new here and you haven't seen this. Look at this. So yes, I make an income on the channel. It helps support me to allow me to do it. But in 2020, we gave away $22,000 to charities and a DNA fund. 2021, $42,500. That's just from the income from the channel, right? Then in 2022, $62,250, and this year we're already at $30,850, which is a little less than last year, but last year was a miracle, really, the way that worked out. But so, anyways, I donate over 50% of the net revenue, and we're at $157,600. And people go, "God, Gray, you're greedy." Well, I think if I was greedy, I would have kept 100,000 of that, and 57 would have looked great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Thank you for being the voice of reason. I don't
Well,
know
thank you,
what
Geek
happened
Mom.
when you weren't doing this.
I don't know what. Well, I think the last video that I made is. See, I don't know if the freaks, all the freaks probably know this, that in some of the biggest cases that have been out here, I've put together a video that was sort of like the game-changing one where you go, oh, wow. Oh, shit, you know. Kylie Rodney, this one. I've had a few Delphi ones like that. Oh gosh, there's I don't even remember. There's like 2 or 3 more of these, but they're not very common. Well, Kanika Jenkins was just a constant battle with people. It was just people. Yeah, Kanika Jenkins. I had a couple. There's one video in the Kanika Jenkins case that has over 2 million views. It's crazy. Hey, thanks, Revengeance. And thank you, Deborah Thornburg. I would ask you how your cousin Greta's doing, but I would just be joking. I haven't seen another Thornburg before. Oh yeah, look at that. Here we go. Crime dissector, the rejector, homicide, human lie detector, gonna get ya, on a shut ya, even drive me like an old rejector. Crime sector is my neck, never I didn't take a big enough breath. Watch her say, well, she is my cousin. Anyways, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. That was very kind. All right, you guys, the phone lines are open. Let me get back to the other screen here, and there you go. Why don't you call in and let's talk about some other elements that you might think of. Because there's people that say I arbitrarily added time here and there. That my video had nothing to do with like time. I was just trying to get the clock through it. Somebody did have a good idea today, though. They said you should have the real time during the murders. Like let the clock tick away and allow people to realize how long 9 minutes is. It could even be less. I think it might be 4:09 to 4:17 or 4:16 or something. Thank you, Lady Scarlet. And by the way, you know the videos that I have where I have a character walking around through the house? That person walks through the house in like a minute, and it's normal speed. So add 5 or 6 minutes for killing. If you're killing quickly, you come up and stab people over and over and over again. You can probably do that in 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, I don't know why it's such a weird. It's a thing that holds people back. Oh man, there's no way somebody could do that in this amount of time. Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Well, thanks. Lady Scarlet. Scarlet Lady. Almost like, I was going to say Scarlet Letter, but that's not a good thing. Yes, the knife sheath under the comforter too. So weird. Yeah, well, it's sort of just barely under it. I mean, we don't know if it's all the way under. You think it's sticking out? Wasn't it sticking out from under it? I guess if it was under it, maybe he staged the scene afterwards and put something over them. Who knows? I think if you 5 or 6 minutes is enough time to have killed everybody. But I think it's probably something like 7 to 8. I think if you look at the surveillance footage here again, at the time. So here's the first time it turns around and then goes and does the head, the 3-point turn, then heads east again. So that's 7:38, right? So when you look at the clock here, 7:38. Parks, probably doesn't just hop out of his car. So let's say then it's like 7:07 and 4. Not 7:38. I meant 7:07 and 38 seconds. So it'd be 7:08 and 30 seconds maybe. Then gets out and then goes this way. Gets into the house at like 7:09. Sneaking around, looking in. And that's right around the time. Isn't that interesting that Xana is on TikTok? Because she's still on there at 4:12. Did I say 7:09? Yeah, sometimes but I meant at 4:09 is likely when they went in. Or he went in. Oh, God, he said they, everybody. Did you hear he say they? Oh, my God, he said they. Well, no, it was a verbal slip. No, it was a Freudian slip. Well, if it's a Freudian slip, that means I have some knowledge of something. Oh, yeah, good point, yeah. Hey, thanks, Annabelle Stell. Hey, look, we got a phone. 856.
Hey, Gray.
Oh, it's Lillian,
hey.
The legend.
Yeah, you're keeping me up late with this. I'm telling you, you did fantastic job, seriously.
Yeah.
And anybody that follows you, you get it from the police report, the probable cause. You're matching it up. They stole his car. They stole his phone. Come on. I mean, look, for somebody he was supposed to be so smart, he obviously left a lot out. But think about this. Like you said, when he was parked up, and you showed this before, when he's parked up where the little parking lot is, you can look right down in there. Now, maybe a light wasn't on in Xana's room with Ethan there, but
yeah, he was looking
we
at
all
Madison.
know she was on TikTok. We all know she called for DoorDash. So there could have been some things that he saw in there, light flickering or here and there.
Yeah.
He obviously wasn't comfortable, and he waited. And that's why he's looping around.
Yeah, don't you think like on each loop he was looking and all the lights were on? Because remember, Dylan Mortensen said they were all in bed by 4. So that means all that other time, 3:31, 3:39, 3:57, they're still kind of awake. And then maybe the lights finally go off on the 4:07 loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he's not going to go in there with all the lights on.
Right. Yeah. And the other lights are, they're not in the same area. He's going to the 3rd floor. And so,
Gray,
yeah.
he, Kaylee had, moved out. So, first of all, whoever he was after, he wasn't he really didn't know that Ethan would be there. That was like wow for him. He wasn't expecting that. So if he got Xana and Ethan first, okay, and then he went upstairs, he wasn't thinking that the two girls were going to be in the same bedroom because Kaylee's stuff was out. That's why she was in Maddie's room. So he's like, getting all kinds of different things hit at him. You got a guy there. He wasn't expecting that. And he wasn't expecting the two girls to be in the same bedroom.
Well, also, Kaylee wasn't
opinion.
even supposed to be there either. Like, she was already gone from the...
Well, yeah, she had moved out because she was going to graduate and she was going home to spend time. Yeah, to spend time with her parents before she went. She was going, I think, abroad, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah, I think so.
And as far as if it took him 6 to 9 minutes to do what he did, think about it. His adrenaline is raging. And once and it's sad to say, but once he got one, he just went off. And that adrenaline, he just went from here to here to here to here, and it was done in no time flat. And somebody says, how the hell could he kill 4 people in one time? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids were out. They had some drinks. They were tired.
But
the girls are no
well, you remember
match.
Madison, right? Madison over there at the grub truck? She was almost falling over a bunch of times. So she could she wouldn't be able to defend herself at all.
And these kids were good kids, and they had a right to party. That's what college kids do. But they were no match for him. The only one that was a match for him that he didn't expect was Ethan. And what I read, Zaina put up one hell of a fight because she, and I hate to say this, but I read it not on any YouTube channel. I read it in a news article that her fingers were almost sliced up because she was fighting.
Yeah.
And it's horrific. And, you know, his attorney, the defense, is going to come out with this. But I'll tell you, Greg, you put it together. I don't know how you do it. And you can see that it takes time. You don't just put crap out there. And we all know in our country, you are innocent until proven guilty. We all know that.
Yeah, everybody knows.
But you got to look at the facts, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think he's guilty. I think he's guilty as hell. But I'm not against. I'm not against him going to a trial and go to have a jury decide. I'm literally. I think he's guilty as hell. I literally.
I do too.
And I think he's a soul killer. There's not anybody else at all, and that's it, man. Not that you're a man, but I'm just saying.
And you got everything else. First of all, on the button on the sheath. Now, I don't think he left it there on purpose. I think he was in such a frenzy that he just dropped it.
Yeah.
Or it came off his belt, or came off of something.
Yeah, or the weird part is, I mean, there's two options that there's two options on one of the options. So it could be that it fell off accidentally while he was attacking them, or it was in his hand or something and it fell off. Like if he'd killed Xana first, or he had the sheath in his one hand and the other. Who knows how it got there? We don't really know.
Yeah, who
but
knows?
People say it means that they attacked Madison and Kaylee first, but I don't think it means anything. I think it just means that that's where they found it. I mean, it might point a little more towards them being first, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that because.
Yeah. See, my thinking is it became loose while he was fighting with Ethan, maybe, and Zaina put up so much of a fight that it might have got loose wherever he had it, and then when he went upstairs, that's when it fell and it was left there. And let's not forget.
Yeah, but before you get to that one, keep that thing. Remember, let's not forget. Okay, remember that part. But I wanted to. My second point was that it's also possible that he left the sheath there intentionally. And that was going to be what he was going to keep leaving around as signatures. And he thought he had got every little bit. He was really careful. Because isn't it weird to you that there's no DNA whatsoever on the entire knife sheath other than that little part of the button? Something he may have missed, Yeah,
that's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that. But he had to have that car, Ray. He had to have that car and himself covered.
Well, I don't know if the car had to, because if he was covered with blood.
Well, he could have put something over the seat. You're not going to stab to death 4 people would come out of there scot-free with no blood. But I agree with you. A little bit of blood on that snap, but then you got...
Well, no, it's not blood. It was just a little bit of his touch DNA was on the back side of the...
Okay, touch DNA, but, so they did the family tree thing, and it came so far... the numbers were astronomical that it belonged to the family, and which the father came back down to him.
It was something like you'd have to have, like, a billion planet Earths or something to come close to having another planet that might have had a
astronomical figure.
Stupid.
That it came, and then he's over there at his parents' house after driving back the next day, and then he takes the car, cleans it up at the house, puts the trash, wearing gloves, in his neighbor's trash can. Now, who does that? Do you do that, Ray? At your house? Do you put your trash in your neighbor's?
Well, because you just never know, right?
Time.
So, I'm just kidding. No,
I mean, and here's the thing.
Nobody does that.
The house, they said, was not like you had to walk over the driveway, walk on the grass, then you get to your neighbor. Why do you do that? The guy looks, to me, it's sad because he could have been something, but he's got these piercing eyes that would scare the hell out of me if I saw him in a dark alley.
The bushy eyebrows.
They're piercing, and the bushy eyebrows, and they all talk about, Dylan, the girl, and the other one. But I'm telling you, he went there. He probably found these girls on social media, liked one, and just got a fantasy about it. Look, Gray, you know yourself. There's no rhyme or reason why guys go out and pick a house, pick girls, and kill them.
I wonder if he. I wonder if when he was. See, my thing is he was sort of following Bundy's path. Going from Pennsylvania to Washington. It's just a theory that I have, but and then once he decided he was going to go to Pullman, that's when he looked up, because he knew what he wanted to do. That's when he started sort of going over social media and finding who his target might be. Maybe not even
for his prey.
But maybe not waiting until he got there, though. He might have already seen what he wanted to do, and then when he got there, then he started traveling back and forth and surveilling the area and doing it. And
Gray, that wasn't the first time he was at that house. He was checking that house out how many other times?
Yeah, he went there like 11 times. Yeah, it was a whole bunch, 11 or 12 times just driving around.
So he was getting the scoop on it. Mm-hmm. He was getting the scoop on that house, and guess what? He made up his mind, the date, when he was going to do it. After he was surveilling that place all that time, he was BTK was another one that he had a fantasy. Maybe he wanted to be like him or Ted Bundy. Who the hell knows? But he eventually wanted to do it, and nothing was going to stop him. And once he got in there and realized, oh shit, there's a guy here. He had to just annihilate every one of them, and he did. And now he's in trial, and he wants to put everything on hold because they want to check the police, their training, and all this crap. Mm-hmm. And they're going to pick apart this, the defense, which they're supposed to do. They're going to pick apart that.
Yeah.
But
you can't get away from the pinging. The stuff that I just did, though, it's hard to get away with the pinging. How do you explain a ping in Blaine, Idaho? Yeah, there was a ping that they said, well, we don't believe he was in Moscow on the 14th. So that would mean that there's a ping that sort of came, maybe he was driving on the eastern part of Pullman and it pinged in Moscow, right? But how do you explain one that's like 6 or 7 miles south of Moscow, pinging by Blaine right after the murders? And then it keeps pinging on various towers all the way around until it gets back up to Pullman. But that's just all random. It was just the wind was blowing the signal all around. Okay. It was a hurricane. It was weird.
Yeah, right. And I'm 21. Nah, I don't believe that. And you know what they're going to Gray, you know what they're going to pick apart?
Yeah.
Too? They're going to pick apart. Look at him going.
Hey, what are you doing? You're on delay. You're on delay. I'm not.
I know. I'm listening, Gray. They're going to pick apart the fact that they said the wrong year of the Elantra. Remember when they?
Oh yeah. People, but they looked similar. People are crazy. They thought it was 2013, then they went for. Oh wait, it could actually go all the way up to 15.
Yeah. And it just sits. I sit here and it drives me crazy. But I said this thing that I told Nancy. I said I'm staying up. I'm tired. But Gray, when he does this map and he goes, see, nobody could say, "Oh, Gray's making this shit up." How? How are you making it up? You're going right. You're going right by the probable cause that you put out. You're matching it up. If you can get somebody else out there at that time, his phone, his car, his description, his DNA, or familial DNA.
Yeah, I mean, so after all the stuff I just showed on the screen, you just say, "Wow!" and they found his DNA on the sheath. So if they can get the DNA, the sheath DNA thrown out. It makes it a little harder, but even just that where his phone is and the white Elantra is really damning. That the phone is leaving Moscow, Idaho. Yes. But anyways, guess what? I got two more people on hold. They've been sitting here.
You did a fantastic job. I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and I'm telling you right now, Gray. As far as I'm concerned, the guy is as guilty as sin. And he ought to just take his lumps. But the families, he's going to put them through a bunch of crap. But my buddy Gumbo's on there. I want to say hi to all the freaks. I love when Gumbo's on there.
You mean Gumbo?
He's my next favorite after you. Gumbo. I call him Gumbo in my but it's Gumbo.
Yeah.
But he's next after you, Greg. So you take care.
Wow,
you keep doing a good job.
All right. Okay, cool. We'll have a good one. See you later.
It's going okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Say hello. Okay. Yeah. All right. That was Lillian. Hey, Tommy, you're on. What's going on? Hello. Hello. Yeah, pretty good. Who's this? Tommy? What's going on? We got.
Thanks for having me. Great show. I appreciate all your efforts.
Thanks.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something.
Uh-huh.
Well, first,
you sound like you're 1,000 miles away from your phone.
Hold on.
I mean, don't you have a phone? Like you just put it right next to your mouth.
I was.
Okay, so what's going on?
How's this better?
Not really, but what do you got?
Well, with regard to the last caller, I think we're seeing more of crime of passion because of the way the impact of the wound. So I wouldn't say that he was scouting and stalking the girls because it seems like it was.
Well, no, he was though. He was. Well, that's what that is. When you're stalking, that's crime of passion.
He definitely was with the route.
No, but he went there like 11 or 12 times, right in the same area where the phone. His phone pinged in the area. Who knows exactly where he was? But I mean, when you're stalking somebody, isn't that now you've got passion towards it, right? Hello?
Yes.
Right. So it would be kind of a passion crime, right?
Well, I'll call it. Here's my 2 points I just wanted to bring to your attention. Kaylee was on the phone, very excited. Maddie did not seem as whatever was happening on that phone at the grub truck. And then they got rid of Showalter as soon as the rideshare came, and then they went to that. I find it interesting that all the girls were seeking some kind of protection. Where Zaina had her boyfriend there. Mm-hmm. They were trying to call Jack while they were home. So it seems like they kind of knew something was up. And then whatever happened by the time they got there.
But the thing is Kaylee Kaylee's boyfriend Jack, or ex-boy, whatever it was at the time, I don't know. He didn't answer because his friend said, "You got to play hard to get. Don't always answer when she calls." So it could have just been that Kaylee was buzzed and was like, "Hey," and then he wasn't answering when Kaylee was calling. So then she gives Madison. So then Madison calls because they talk about it, and they probably think that he'll answer when Madison calls, but he didn't even answer those. So
But
that's it.
He was at the corner club. So whatever.
Well, no, not his boyfriend. That's a different Jack. Two different ones.
No, Showalter. I understand. Showalter was the one who escorted them down the street. But the other Jack was also at the corner club. And whatever happened, I think whatever was happening between Maddie and Jack and Kaylee and Jack, that's what was told to Adam. And then when they got home, they tried to call.
Right. So but all that stuff is irrelevant to Kohberger. It's just sort of like something that happened in the evening. This
is where I'm getting to Kohberger. If you look in the Adam video, there's a white truck that comes to the corner club behind the girls as they're coming towards the video.
Right.
And it's in front.
I saw the truck.
Okay, you saw the white truck. Now the white truck, I didn't identify it. Somebody else did a while ago. The white truck is the exact same white truck on the crazy route that he took home after the murders.
Right.
And there is a theory that it's possible that white truck, he was in that white truck because that was 2:00. The murders.
So you're gonna claim that's the 423 truck.
I'm gonna say that that's a possible accomplice, a possible informant in the case, where the person, whoever owns that truck, it's the same truck. The identifying characteristics, there's no two ways about it. That same truck has a roll bar.
No, there is two ways. You can't say that the 423 truck and the one at driving around on the Jack video with the Adam comment was the same truck. You can claim
same roll bar. I'm going to use the identifying characteristics. Same roll bar, same windows, same rims, same grill. So I know there's a lot of white trucks in Moscow, Idaho, but if you want to say that that one was right behind the girls when they left the bar and the same one is on the route, I'm going to say it's a possible accomplice or a possible informant. Because if the person if they were trying to meet with Bryan, or Bryan was trying to meet with them at the corner club, and then it didn't happen, that could explain the rage. And that could also explain the phone issues that Kaylee was having at the grub truck.
Well, explain what explains the rage. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm going to assume that they're all on either one of these social media sites. I'm going to say they're probably on Snapchat. Bryan's either as himself or Bryan is as one of his alter egos, whatever it is. And he and the other guy in the truck go to the corner club because they know they're there, because they're posting pictures there from the whole night because it was the end of the football.
but what about Kohberger? Where's he at this time?
Kohberger's in the truck.
No, but he's not. He didn't leave Pullman, Washington till he left at 2:40.
Right.
2:53, and he didn't get into town until 3:26.
Gotcha. So at the corner club, he misses the girls. He goes back home from the truck, comes back with the Elantra. I think the guy in the white truck is the informant, or a possible accomplice, but more likely the informant because they didn't arrest anybody else.
All right.
I
get what you're saying. All I can say for you is that I have to say it's possible, but it's like 1 in 10 trillion. Okay, that's what you're saying. I don't see that being anything that's even remotely likely to be a scenario, but. I have to say out loud that it's possible, because it just doesn't. I mean, I know what you're saying. You see a truck, and you see a. It's
not
so.
A truck, Gray. It's not a truck. It's a truck with a roll bar, the same windows, the same rims, the same grill.
Yeah, but you can't see the 423 video clear enough to really be like, oh, there it is. Look it. And really make out every detail.
423. Are you referring to the gentleman's address?
No, 423 at night, the one that's on the video back there.
I'm talking about the white truck that pulls behind the girls as they're walking
Okay,
down.
okay, so that's the only time you've seen it, is what you're saying.
Well, you see the truck on the grainy video at 4:23, but you also see it at 1:45 approximately.
Okay, but that's what I was just saying. That you're saying that at 4:23, you think that's the same truck that they park back there.
That's possible, but I'm not even concerned about that because the murders have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more concerned that I think that Bryan and the person in the truck were going to the corner club to either confront whatever. I mean, there's a zillion possibilities. Buy drugs, whatever it happened. Then it didn't happen because they missed the girls.
Let me ask you something. Don't you think,
I mean,
though?
the irony.
Well, don't you think if it was Bryan Kohberger that somebody would have come forward by now and said, "Oh my God, I saw him in the corner club."
He did. He's the informant.
So nobody else saw him but the informant, not one of the other people in the bar?
No, the car never went in the bar. They never got out of the club because they saw the girls walking down the road.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't 1 in 10 trillion, Gray. I mean, I appreciate all your efforts, but I think that's where the meat and potatoes of all this is.
Well, I mean, 1 in 10 trillion. I got 1 in 8 million. Okay.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down as that is the theory.
Well, we got you down. Tom, that's your theory, Tommy. And if it comes out to be that, I'll send you a hoodie. Okay, so you got to come back on, or I'll send you an absolute hoodie. We are freaks. It'll say on it.
I'm not a fan of the hoodies. I don't think they're good for business. They're
not good for business. What do you mean? What do they do? Makes it look like a criminal or what?
No, I just think that. Well, I live in South Florida, so I mean.
Oh yeah, that's not going to work. How about a mug, then?
You don't have to send me anything. I'm enjoying discussing and having good dialogue about. If the damn police weren't so secretive about this and had a little bit of transparency, case wouldn't have this kind of interest where we'd be throwing out theories left and right.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like at first they were all over the place, and then finally there's an arrest made, and then we don't really hear much after that, really. We get these documents that come out. I mean, it's really important to have the probable cause document. My theory is it's Kohberger who acted alone, and there's nobody else whatsoever involved. Yeah, he did say the comment of, "Did you arrest anybody else?" or whatever.
Anybody else arrested, right?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I mean, that's all. Another serial killer apparently said the same thing, but I don't know what he means by that, or was he reading that serial killer that said that? Did he know that he said that? Or, I mean, I guess that's where people want to believe that he's referring to that there was somebody else. But if he did have somebody else, why would he say that? If there was somebody else, because you're referring.
Bryan Enton reported that from the Pennsylvania jail. I believe it was either third hand from the attorney that he had in the jail, or third hand from one of the guards in the jail. So really, you're right. There's some clarity upon that asking that question. I mean, it seems we could go down a lot of different directions because of him asking the question, because it sets it up for the possibility of an.
But you might ask yourself, why would he say that if there was somebody else? That means he's throwing that person under the bus. So.
And now we have somebody else and now we have more mysteries, because that person that we keep talking about who gets thrown under the bus is our veteran, Mr. Kopaka, and you could easily see how Bryan wanted to.
Well, I don't want to bring up these other. I don't talk about those other people.
Me either, because there's no evidence.
Yeah.
I will say, that with regards to his passing, it's incredibly unbelievable to me that a SWAT team would shoot down somebody when he's not holding anybody hostage.
Yeah, but he had guns, right? So.
Yeah,
I know, but then what would be your reason? Okay, I know, but here's the thing. I know, but I don't listen. I don't believe in the clown that you probably watch. Okay, the idiot that dresses as a clown. So the thing is what you're saying now is that somehow the police. See, once you go down the route that you're going, then the cops. You're now saying that they had a reason they needed to take this guy out, so he wouldn't say something about somebody else. and then we're into a crazy conspiracy situation, and I don't want to be anywhere near that. That clown that does the videos is a ludicrous YouTuber and should be just shunned off of the internet. He's an embarrassment. Okay, so I don't care.
Obviously, an actor. That's
yeah. It's stupid. People literally sit there and go, "Yeah, wow, it's great." Okay, but what you're saying right now when you say, "Why would they shoot this guy?" See, as soon as you say that, we're now in a ridiculously deep conspiracy where the police are involved and they took him out to silence him, right?
Well, I'm not saying that at all, Grant.
Well, that's kind of what you're saying, because you're saying why it's weird that he got shot, right?
Well, it is. Because in the absence of any documentation or some kind of publication from the police, you're left to think that Bryan Kohberger was not in the Marine Corps. Okay, so he left a Marine Corps chief at the scene of the crime. Now, it's possible from the evidence list that they took from Pennsylvania that they have an Amazon slip that it's possible that he bought a USMC knife and sheath by way of Amazon. However, but the fact that you have a USMC sheath left there, and then I don't know how many days after November 13th when the SWAT situation happened, I think it was a week or two after that, or it was the day that the cops stopped him in the car.
I've actually communicated with his friend, and I can just tell you all this stuff.
Right.
All this stuff about him is ludicrous.
So to say why would he use a USMC and then that happened? So it's not crazy to say there's some kind of connection or there was a possibility of him trying to set him up to do that because Brian's not in the MC. And now I'm with you. I like to stick to what we know we could see.
Right.
That's why I'm fixated on the truck.
See, that's why I'm boring to some people, because I won't entertain the stuff that you just mentioned. See what I'm saying?
Well, why wouldn't you entertain the truck? It's
the truck is something you could look at, but it's really a stretch to say that there is an accomplice in the truck, and then the truck shows up, and then he drove all the way back and switched out the truck.
There's an unnamed informant.
I know, but you're just claiming there's an unnamed informant. What evidence do you have that there's an unnamed? It doesn't say that. Where does it say?
There is an informant who's been given immunity who will not be brought in to either.
Okay, what page on this PCA does it say that? You'll have to go find it.
I didn't know we were going this direction.
Okay, well, how about you find it?
Please have an informant, Gray. If you don't know that, that's not good.
Well, no, I'm just saying you don't. In the probable cause, we've gone over it 4 times. I don't know if I don't remember ever reading that they've got an informant.
He will not be. His testimony was definitely in the grand jury testimony, but he will not be brought to court in both sides, both defense and prosecution.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the PCA. You said that there was an informant mentioned in the probable cause affidavit, and I've gone over it 4 times, and that's possible. I just missed the pages that was on, but I haven't seen it.
Let me pull it up for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem. How about this? Can you just pull it up and put it in the chat? Because I got these other people that were trying to.
Absolutely.
But just put it in the chat and tell me what page it is, and I'll read it, and I'll go, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." Because
I will. If the DNA, the whatever they call it, match DNA, if that's what they were going on, they wouldn't have. They probably would have got the indictment either way. But if they thought they were going to take this high-profile case based on touch DNA, that's the term.
Yeah.
They're crazy because Mark Garagos would laugh at that because they know they could win that. Right. It's the informant that got them on the trail to Kohberger.
Well, to me it seems like they got on the trail by 2 officers on campus just happened to be looking around for white Elantras, and 2 of them found Kohberger's car, and then his name was out there. That's how it. And then there was DNA that then linked it to the same 2 people that they found, and Bryan Kohberger's house in Pennsylvania, his dad's house. So since Kohberger wasn't throwing his own shit away, they checked the garbage and found that it matched the father of Kohberger to like 10 octillion likely that he's the father than anybody else. And then they compared Bryan Kohberger's DNA to the DNA that was on the swab, and it was a match. So
Yeah, I'll put the informant. So that everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Okay. Well, in the probable cause, if you find the informant part, put it in the chat.
It's not in the probable cause.
Oh, that's what you told me.
The indictment. Okay, if there is an informant, there's no two ways around it. The police already announced it.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Get that information and put it in the chat, or you can't put a link in there, but just say, "Hey, Gray, look for this." Okay. So I got to get this
Hey man, thanks for doing a live show. It's late here in Florida, but
well, it's good. Wow, what Jesus, man, you're up. It's like 2:41 in the morning over there, or what is it? 1:41, right?
It's all right. This is a fun case to track because we just don't know.
Okay.
I don't want the hoodie. Maybe the coffee.
The mug would be cool. I'll get you one that's the Nefarious. It says Nefarious on it. Okay, that'll be good. All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Bye. Oh, oops. Not sure how to get you out of here. Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, that was Tommy, I think. Hey, Teresa, you're on. Hello. Teresa. I sound like Negan now. Where's my bat when you need it? Hey, there you are. Teresa. Your audio's connecting now. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me turn off the TV sound. I just had to call because that guy was driving me crazy. I was screaming at the TV.
Yeah. Oh, it's Bobby. Is that his name? Bobby? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know how you could have an accomplice when he can't even have any relationship whatsoever with anybody. So how is he going to convince someone to go murder with him?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is now I've got to, I don't know if I'll take the time, but I'll look to the truck and then look at the one at 423. But it's just, I don't want to, because it's to me, it just seems so not likely.
I think you've got it laid out perfectly. And if they have to, during the trial, if they have to just show how it could possibly happen, if they could use your animation, it would be perfect, because you can see that the timing all fits, that he could do it at how he got there, how much time it took to do it. I mean, it just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like that's the thing is I think when you just narrow it down and you say that his phone and his vehicle, a vehicle matching his vehicle, so a car looking like his and his phone pinged in Pullman just before the murders, and then it turned off at 2:47. Right. And then the same vehicle, one that looked just like that vehicle, shows up in Moscow at 3:26, and then at 3:28 drives by the A&W, and then at 3:29 it shows up on another camera, and then a minute 50 later it shows up behind the building going through, making its first loop around. And then later, those all match. The loops match up absolutely perfectly with the probable cause. Then, after he leaves town at 4:20, so right when he's speeding away at 4:20, merely 28 minutes later, 6 miles south of Moscow, his phone is turned on again and it pings near Blaine, Idaho.
Right.
I mean, isn't that just enough? And then it pings all the way around and then goes home, and then his phone and the car is seen again at 5:30 in the morning in Pullman. I mean, that's just enough right there. It's crazy.
Right. Exactly. I think so. Without you don't even need the DNA at that point.
Right. The DNA is a big deal, but the thing is that right there shows that his phone is traveling from Moscow, Idaho to Pullman in this back way just after the murders. And his vehicle, it's crazy. The DNA is really important, though, I have to say.
It is important, and I think they probably have a lot more than
me too.
What they're telling us.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more.
Yeah, I think he took that class with that Catherine, whoever it was, the BTK book writer. I think he took that class and he just decided he was going to do something like that. He got all excited, and I think he might even be right that he might have looked around for a school to go to, maybe mimicking Bundy or whatnot.
Yeah.
But
well, don't you think it's also interesting? So He goes from Pennsylvania to Washington, and then when he goes home for, I guess, Thanksgiving or whatever, he drives through Utah and into Colorado, which are also, they're Bundy places, and he's within, his phone was like pinging within 15 or 20 miles of one of the places where Bundy's killed somebody. So
yeah,
it's just weird, you know, the whole thing. That's the only reason I was thinking maybe that's what that was. But
I bet if they look at his whatever he's read about or look on his search history on his computer, they'll probably find all kinds of serial killer research. But
every once in a while I always think, if I ever got in trouble for anything and they looked at our computers, we're toast, man.
My husband always says, please don't ever disappear, because he'd be screwed with my computer.
Oh, he would be. God, look at that. Look what your husband was looking up.
Right.
God. You could be driving and your car spins out and goes out into the water, and he's going to be arrested for murder because you're what's on. Oh man, that's hilarious. But don't let that happen. Okay, what I just said.
I'll try not to.
Hit some wood. Hit some wood. Here we go. Knocked on some wood. There we go.
Knock on wood.
There we go.
Okay. Well, it's good to talk to you. I really like your work, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right, have a good one. Thank you.
Okay, you too.
All right. Oh, there was another caller, but they hung up. Must have been a troll. She says with true crime. Of course, it was her. Who's her? Who's who? What? Oh, you mean if you're on your computer? Yeah. Last two calls, 9. Well, the first guy, you know, he Bobby, is that his name? He was sort of more into like the sort of looking at those fringe theories that are out there. I just can't get over the fact that there's a clown that does true crime, and people trust what they're saying. Do you know how crazy that is, you guys? A literal clown. Doesn't that mean something to somebody? Hey, are you the one that called in, Bobby, right there? Or, wait, who's... Oh, now I'm confused. I thought it was Tommy that called in. Yeah, but, I mean, think about somebody who dresses up as a clown, and you're... Oh, this is great stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, it was Tommy. That's what I thought. But you guys said Bobby. And I was like... I wouldn't doubt it, Timmy. Based on what you say. Wow. Yeah, Tommy from Florida. Thanks, Doohickey. Yeah, but I mean a literal clown, Jesse. You know. And they copied my boom statement that I've been making that for 5 years, and now they try to do the boom. No, he doesn't deserve any, Tom, because it's somebody tricking people. So you can go give the respect if you want to, okay? But I'm not going to. So gotta hide that comment there. Oh, sorry, put you on timeout on accident. I hate when people say shit like that. Even the people who put out bullshit should be respected. No thanks. Oh, he just looks at pictures and tries to correlate some meaning there. I know, that's what I keep saying, Zozo. Don't people get it? Okay. It's a freaking clown! And you're typing in, great sleuthing, dude. What do clowns do? They trick you. Okay, what do we got here? All right, 818, you're on. You got to turn off the audio in the background and just use your phone. That's why I can hear myself whistle. Yeah.
great. You are the best.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not going to keep you
Well,
long.
well, who's this?
Too late
Who are
for
you?
Catherine.
Catherine.
From LA.
From LA?
Yeah.
From LA?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Okay. Thank you for listening. I want to point that when they caught him, immediately, because I was, so upset about this story and so afraid, even though I'm in LA and I'm 70 years old, I was scared to death. So I went immediately into Instagram, and here is his profile. Now it's hidden, and his profile is there, and he is following the 3 girls.
Well,
So
where is that? I've never seen that part where he's actually following them, but I've heard of it. I heard that on.
When I went on his profile was still on Instagram. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as soon as he got an attorney, he's hiding.
Mm.
So I go on Instagram and I look at the names of the girls, and he is following the 3 girls. Even now that his Instagram is hidden, you can press following, and you see the 3 names. Why his attorney says he was never following anyone on Instagram? I mean, is that dumb? I don't understand.
Yeah, but I need proof for something like that. So right now on this show, if I go to Instagram, what's his account? How do you click on an account that's not there anymore? So what if I go to Instagram right now?
You go on Instagram and you type his name.
Okay, hold on. But I got to tell you, there is one thing that does happen, is that there's people out there that they make these accounts right away, and they try to troll people by making it seem like they were the one. But let's see. So,
well, the picture is the same since the beginning.
Okay, so you go to search.
Following.
What do you search for? Just his name, Bryan Kohberger?
Yeah, Bryan C. Kohberger.
Bryan.C. Kohberger.
And if you press, he's following 7 people right now. In the beginning, he was following a lot of people. Now you see their names again.
Just a second. Oh, okay. There he is. Okay, yeah. And then you say
you
following.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It says Kaylee Gonzalez, Matt. Okay, here. So here's what she's saying right here.
Yeah.
Here's what she's saying. So here's an account.
Okay.
Now, whether this is really his account or not, I don't know. But if you click on following right here.
Yeah.
And then you click on following and you scroll down, you see Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, and Xana Kernodle.
Okay. You might say this account right now is fake. When I went into Instagram, immediately, the hour they caught him, I go into Instagram and I press his name, and his profile is open, and I see that he is following the 3 girls together with some other 100 people. This is one thing. Another thing I want to ask you about the thief. In something that I don't know if you mentioned, but I didn't hear it from anyone else. And is there a possibility that Maddie or Kaylee, they had a fight with him and they grabbed the thief during the fight, and that's how the thief ended up in their bed.
Huh? I don't really know what you're saying there. I'm still kind of process if this
Okay.
is real or not. Yeah.
The thief, okay? The
Mhm.
thief.
Mhm.
How ended up in the girl's bed?
What do you mean? How in the top
And-
of the? Say that again. I'm not understanding that part.
Oh, my accent. Okay.
But no, I know, but I mean, I don't want to, I just can't understand what you're saying.
Okay. They found the tip of the knife
Yeah.
in the girl's bed.
Right.
My theory is maybe the girls, they had a fight with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
And
Yeah.
they grabbed the thief by accident, and that's how it ended up on their bed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were
Either
talking about
way.
earlier. It either came out during whatever he was doing, it came out on the bed,
Yeah.
or he left it there as a signature of some sort,
I doubt that he left it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, but
I think-
he might have
yeah.
he might have been doing something. I mean, I think it's less likely than it just falling out, but
Yeah,
it could be that
yeah.
he was going to leave K-bar knives around, or sheaths around, because he wanted to make it he wanted it known, like, because a lot of times if somebody becomes a serial killer, they have a signature, and maybe that's what that would have been, because there was no DNA on any part of the sheath, which is weird. That means he took care in handling it, but he made a tiny mistake. There was a little bit of DNA on the back side of the buckle. So that's a little weird, don't you think, that he took the care to keep DNA off of that sheath? Why would he give a damn if he was going to take it with him?
Yeah.
Think about that. Well, just think about what I just said. Like, don't just gloss over it, what I'm saying. Like, what I'm
Well,
saying right there, there's no DNA on the whole sheath other than just that little tiny pit on the buckle. So why do you think he took the care to not put any DNA on that buckle when he was just going to take it with him anyways?
He cleaned everything, and while he was wearing gloves in his house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I mean, why
And
wouldn't he
so
just
He needs that.
ditch it later and not care about it anymore? Instead, he wanted to make sure that was really clean. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I think it's more likely I think more likely what you're saying is how it happened. A battle happened and it fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the battle, it fell off and went in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to ask you. How a guy, they say he was a genius, how he cleans everything. We don't know. We suspect there is no DNA in the home and in the car. How he leaves his phone open?
Huh?
He turns the phone on and off.
Yeah. He
Why
turned it off
does he
when he
leave the
thought he was
phone in
safe.
the house?
Well, he turned it off when he drove over there, and then he turned it back on on that crazy drive in the middle of the night because it's dark out on wild roads.
But sorry, great. If he's so smart, why he doesn't leave the phone in his home?
Because he's stupid. Well, look at.
4:00 in the
Here's the
morning.
thing. I know. I always say this. If a criminal really wants to get away with something, they use sort of an older car that doesn't have any tracking on it, and they don't take their phone with them. They know exactly where they're going.
Yeah.
These idiots, I don't know what they're doing. It's just so stupid. But he took it with him because maybe he thought he needed to get back home on maybe that crazy route that he took back. But he thought it was okay to turn it on after he was like 7 or 8 miles out of town, which is weird. And then he didn't turn it off on any of his surveillance trips because he wasn't committing any crimes and he didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? All the trips that he took,
Sorry,
the
but
11.
That shows he's dumb. he's not a genius.
Well, look
like
at
they
he hadn't
describe him.
finished his doctorate program yet. He was almost through it, and then he would have left the phone at home, but he didn't do it. He would have done it. he was
I
trying.
enjoy so much what you're saying. You do everything in perfection. Thank
Well, I wouldn't say that,
thank
but-
you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And-
you had good thoughts in there. You have common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank you. I mean, you know, you do a great job. And have a good night, Gray.
You too. Thanks for calling in. What was your name again?
My phone
What's your name
call.
again?
Catherine.
Catherine. Do you ever chat in the
Yes.
chat with everybody?
No, that's the first time I call.
Well, you should get
No,
in.
I
You should get
don't
into
chat
the chat. There's a chat that goes on the on YouTube. You can.
Yeah, I see it, but usually, you know, I have a million things to do, and right now I still work in the house.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
very
Well,
busy.
Well, anyways, well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking my call. Good night.
Good night. All right. Catherine came in with some heat. Yeah, she's pretty good. Yep, just like everyone. I think everyone's been pretty good. Even Tommy. He seemed pretty passionate about his thoughts, but I don't agree with that kind of stuff. I don't do those shows. I think the probable cause documents are really where people need to go. Theorizing without having any way of knowing anything. See, here's what I think is weird: is a probable cause document is created by law enforcement and people investigating the case with way more ability and techniques that they can deploy than any of us in general. And then you have YouTubers that think that they're gonna out-sleuth the real investigation. It's bizarre. You just go with that and you can nail it. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, there's a Bobby, a Tommy, and a Timmy. Has Tommy ever showed up again to give us where the informant was listed in the documents? Isn't it true that everything in the PCA has to be proven in court of law? Not really true facts. This is what law enforcement believes to. No, wait a minute. They are facts. They just believe that the facts mean something, Kathy. Those are facts that they have in there. His phone did ping at these various times and everything. So I don't know if this is real right here, but it's pretty interesting. Catherine seems to think it was actual Bryan Kohberger, and he liked those accounts. So I mean, it's amazing that those are the only ones in there, though. I mean, wasn't there any other people that he liked? All right, everybody. Well, we're still plugging away here. If you'd like to help support the channel, that'd be awesome. I explained earlier it helps support me, allows me to keep doing these shows, and like I said before, we give away over 50% of the net revenue to various charities, and last month we gave away $4,500, the month before that $6,000, and I think the month before that close to that amount. And we're doing pretty good for the year so far. I think we're averaging 5,000 something a month, which is, far and away, we get shit done. Let's put it that way. Thanks for explaining how he parked in back waiting. Yeah. Yeah, for those showing up late, I'll just say it again, if you want me to. Let me turn up my music a little louder. Okay, here we go again. It works, man. For all those skeptics out there, just listen for a second. It'll all make sense. Here we go. I think Gummo, all you do is joke. At least the only ones I see are jokes, But I agree with that one. The clown. Actually, Gummo makes sense in there. I've read. He's not like he was. I perceived him before. I don't know if you were him. I can't remember now. Is Gummo a guy or? Yeah, not all the time. Yeah, I thought you were a guy. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Teresa. We called in. Forgot to tell you on the phone. We decided his eyebrows were his accomplices. Oh, really? What about this? Maybe his eyebrows were the informants. You ever thought of that? And I mean, both eyebrows were different informants. Not that the eyebrows were from the informant. Maybe there was just two guys that became friends because they both had huge eyebrows. And they're the ones that did it, knowing that they couldn't really prove which friend had the big eyebrows. But then that's where the DNA comes in. Yeah, I mean, I did see a post on Instagram about Bryan Kohberger one time where it mentioned that Bryan Kohberger sails on boats and they use his eyebrows as sails. It's absolutely incredible. What he does is he puts rope on the end of his eyebrows and pulls them up, and they go really high, and then the boat changes directions. They got somebody. So what he does, he stands at the front of the boat, right? And then they have a rope tied to each eyebrow, and they pull it in one direction, and they're able to steer it. It's absolutely incredible, everybody. He's been cutting them shorter lately, though. Great, at least the clown doesn't joke around. Well, at least, listen, when I'm joking, you know it's a joke. He jokes the whole show, but you think it's serious. All right, here we go. We're just going to... You know what I'm talking about, Jim? Yeah. Right. He acted alone. So I'm going to bust this out again. Was everybody here at the beginning of the show? Put a 1 if you were not here when I just went through this, because it doesn't take me that long. I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to try to do it by memory, but when I'm talking fast, sometimes I screw up. You were at the beginning, weren't you, Gummo? Okay, I'll do it anyways. Even if there's a few, it's always worth it. So look at this, everybody. Here is Pullman, Washington. At 2:42 in the morning, his phone was on. That's when it started pinging to a network. And then at 2:40, I think it was 2:47, his phone also pinged. His literal phone was pinging, but not at the same place that it pinged at 2:42. That means his phone went on the move. And that was at 2:47. Then the phone was turned off. But look at how it matches up. In town, a white Elantra is moving around at 2:44. Then his phone gets turned off at 2:47. And then the white Elantra is still seen in this area at 2:53. Maybe when he was driving down here, he pulled over, sat for a moment, turned off his phone, got everything ready. Then he finally made his route on Olympia right here. And then he makes it back out on the highway. And who knows what route he took. We don't know over here. But a white Elantra consistent with that shows up over here at 700 Indian Road at 3:26. 2 minutes later, it's driving by the A&W right here. Then 1 minute after that, it's seen right around here on a camera. Then a minute 50 later, keep in mind the minute 50 later, it comes around and it does its first loop at 3:30 and 50 seconds. Then it drives around, goes like this. And then it comes back around, out, goes on Atlanta Drive and does whatever. But I think after it does this loop, it parks here, waits, observes the house for a while to see if the lights are finally going to turn off. They didn't. Then he backs up, drives out, leaves, comes back around, and on the next trip, he likely got in the area at like 3:07, or 3:37, excuse me, right here, and came in. Then at 3:39, he's back here, parks, waits, and let's see. Yeah, and this one, So there's the first loop, second loop. And on this loop, he waits for longer. He's just waiting. Come on, turn off their lights for God's sake. Then he drives away again, goes around. Then at probably like 3:55, comes by here again. Goes back here, drives around. Parks here, waits, lights still aren't off. Backs up, drives away, goes around. Then at 4:04 it shows up in the area. And then guess what? A minute 50 later, it comes back around. Goes in here, turns around just like the PCA says. Goes back this way, does a 3-point turn over here. Drives this way. You see it again on camera at 4:07 and 50 seconds or so, then or 30 seconds. Then pulls over here. The lights are off. He gets out of the vehicle. I mean, I'm just using that part as a theory. Gets out of the vehicle, the lights are off, and now he's going to go in and attack, and that's when all the murders happen. Then at 4:20, the car leaves at a high rate of speed. And then at 4:25, it actually makes it down here, because that, in this case, the car, instead of doing this loop, turned here, went around like this, came out, boom, this direction, and then at 4:48, his actual phone was turned on again and pinged right here. Then his actual phone kept pinging all the way around, clear down in Genesee, Uniontown, all the way around, and then at 5:30, the phone pinged in Pullman, Washington here, and guess what? The vehicle shows up in town at 5:25, and 5:27, and it's totally consistent with him being back in town after the murders. Isn't that just like the most crystal clear way to look at that right there? It's amazing. Hey, thanks for joining, Kat Bennett. Yeah, so just look at that right there. I mean, it was so, I did that in like what, 4 minutes, and that's it. And keep in mind, his DNA was found in the house on a sheath. So you don't even need that to, if you literally sit here and you follow what they're saying here. Now people go, oh, those pings are wrong all the time. Yeah. Can you really sit there and say it all the way? I mean, his phone was right here. How come his phone was right here at 4:48? The murders happened at 4:20. 28 minutes later, his phone's right there. How come? Why is Bryan Kohberger's phone right there? Well, you say, well, that's just a bad ping. Okay, then why did his phone keep pinging as it went down to Genesee over here? Why did his phone keep pinging over here at Uniontown? Oh wait, I know what it was. A pigeon picked up his phone and was flying around and dropped it back. Kohberger has a homing pigeon, for God's sakes. None of us realize that. The pigeon flew around, all the way around, and it dropped the phone back off in his apartment. Ha! Case solved, everybody. Bryan Kohberger is innocent. The homing pigeon flew around and dropped it off right back at his apartment like homing pigeons do. God, that's amazing. How did it do that? Can anybody out there, the Kohberger fan club wackos, can you explain why the phone pinged here just south of Moscow 28 minutes after the murders and kept going down and went around like this, then back in town right when a white Elantra is seen again? Yeah, I didn't think so. This Grant Hughes guy, he thinks he knows it all. Look at, all I'm doing is going through the probable cause, looking at it like a rational human being, and it makes sense. It doesn't mean every single thing in there is absolutely 100% correct, but what it means is Kohberger's car was right here, and his phone was turned off. And again, let's go back to the part where people say, he was set up, man. Like this roommate did it. Some other guy, some other guy did it. Okay, well, let me ask you this. So that's true. Why didn't that person who had his phone just leave the phone on the entire ride over? I mean, my God, that would pin it right on Kohberger. Why wouldn't he do that? And then just leave it on, too, for the whole ride back home. Hell, Yeah, just leave it on for the whole ride home. Instead, we're to believe, in your theory, that some weirdo did it, is that he was just a polite person. That he brought the phone back and put it back with Kohberger later. Or that he was so ahead of law enforcement because he knows that law enforcement would be suspicious if it wasn't turned off. It would look too obvious that it was a setup. So he made it look like it was somebody planning to get away with it and then give it back to Kohberger later. Yeah, I mean, these guys are incredible criminals, you guys. Special forces level type stuff. This is... Mm-hmm. 6 people involved, 4 from grub truck. White truck guy. White truck guy. Black truck guy. Yeah, all those people, right? The 80s kid? Yeah, I agree with you. I know you're just mimicking the other people, but I actually think there's an entire club of bushy eyebrowed people, and they all bought white Elantras, so that one of them at some point could commit a murder and we just wouldn't know which one it was. Kohberger, unfortunately, was the guy with the big eyebrows and a white Elantra that was captured. I know that's scary. I mean, imagine joining a club and you get arrested because you look like the other people in your club. That's not good. It's not good at all. I guess the police just... Oh, it's got to be this one guy. See, but you got to tell me... Let me just say this. Don't you think I'm correct when Tommy called in and I said... Hey, what are you pointing at? Is he up here? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Why are you pointing up? Why are you pointing up there, Lady Scarlet? I don't see anything. Maybe I need to... Yeah, I'm on the right chat. But listen, when he said... the part was it he said? Oh, yeah. That this other guy, this Kopak, or whatever the hell his name is. When he was shot, there's something fishy about that. That's just like when people say, how come Dylan didn't hear something? That means they're implying something, right? That's what that means. Okay. He just sent me an email with theories in it. Nothing else in it. It's the same theory that he called in about. Yeah, we thought it was interesting, the Adam comment before the probable cause came out. The whole, what did you tell Adam? You know, we thought, wow, somebody's really upset. You know, maybe somebody named Adam got, you know, but the probable cause should change everybody's, oh, okay, yeah, so that was just a wild goose chase that I went down. Okay, let me see if he's got the word informant. Okay. Also the informant. Okay, where is it? Also the informant in the PCA given immunity. Where? Where is it? You keep saying, you said it again, that the informant is in the PCA. Where is it? What page is it on? Can you give me that? He says, BK and accomplice 2 a.m. at Corner Club get dope or are trying to get a hold of girls for some other confrontation. Rest in reality, really a mystery at 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. I don't know. Jesus. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that white truck has anything to do with anything. But you didn't send me... Okay, but where? Where is it? I don't see it in the probable cause. You keep typing that in. Tell me what page it's on and I'll read it. I've got it right over here. I don't care, Lady Scarlet. Okay. I don't care. If you guys want to go look up this truck, go waste hours doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay? That stuff doesn't interest me in the slightest. I think there's just one killer here, and it's Bryan Kohberger all by himself. There isn't some other guy driving around a truck. What was chilling, Danielle? Nothing. Let's see. She may have been... Oh, I mean when they showed his picture. Just type it all in one sentence. You don't need to... No. The cops spent the hours on the truck, I'm sure. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they probably did see the truck drive by them. But it wasn't really a crazy hour. You know, it's like 1:45 or something, and you know, that's when people are driving around. But why not look at it? How do they link his what? What's an NR? I don't get it, man. We need full sentences here. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know how the DNA works, you guys want to? For those who don't know, can I explain it to you? Because we're pretty good on this channel on forensic genetic genealogy, because we have on Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. Like she's been on I don't know, 10 or 15 times minimum, and we've talked about everything, and we know it here. So we're different than other people. Okay. So the way the DNA works is when they swabbed the sheath and they got a DNA. They found DNA on it. Then once they get that, they get it sequenced and they upload the CODIS version of DNA. There's like 20 markers or so, and they upload that to CODIS because that's the standard that law enforcement uses. It goes into CODIS first. They found no matches to Bryan Kohberger. And guess what? We actually, because we know about this, we suggested, man, why doesn't law enforcement have rapid genetic genealogy in cases like this? You know, just quickly find a profile and boom. And it's amazing because that's what they did in this case. We said that before that was even out there. And that's in the record. You can go look on a show with Misty. I was asking her about it. But anyways, so it's in CODIS. And then, let's see, after that, they couldn't find a match in CODIS. So I got a lab, I believe it was Othram Lab, who started doing genetic genealogy on it. But then at some point the FBI took it from them and they continued on. And genetic genealogy is, if anybody out there has a 23andMe or Ancestry account, there's a place where you can download your raw data. Then you can load your raw data into a place like GEDmatch or Family Tree DNA, and that allows you to find matches. You can find other matches that don't exist out there. You can find your cousins, and you have to do all this certain research by looking. You get their email address. You look up who it is. Then you can find their name in the newspaper. Go to obituaries. Get all the family members. Start building out trees, and you eventually come up with a suspect. In this case, though, you don't have the raw data to download from Ancestry.com or 23andMe. Do you get it? That doesn't exist. There isn't. To do that, you have to spit into a tube, send it off. They use their own system, and they create your account on 23andMe, and then you have to download the raw data. But they don't have that. So there's a software program called bioinformatics that takes the DNA sequence and makes a file that's exactly the same as what you download from 23andMe or Ancestry. And then that is uploaded to GEDmatch and Family Tree, and it's an unknown person. You don't know who this is. And then you get a genetic genealogist in there, and they start building the tree, putting it all together, and then it leads to a lead, they call it. a suspect, or, you know, like, here's a lead, they give it to law enforcement. Then law enforcement, then, they went over, once they knew who it was, oh, it's Bryan, we think it's Bryan Kohberger, they go over to the house and they collect trash, and they get a profile that's the biological father of Bryan Kohberger to the likelihood of like 10 octillion, okay? Hey, wow, Cairo, what's going on, man? I always think about, God, I wish Cairo would be here more. It was always cool having the same gang around all the time. You know, like Dan Carr, Cairo. Dan will probably be back one of these days, who knows, but so you get what I'm saying right here? We're at a point where they figured out it's the father, right? But that doesn't stop right there. Because remember, they have the CODIS profile. So then, first of all, when they got the lead, they get a warrant to the house to collect DNA out of surreptitiously out of the trash. And that to search there. But the trash is actually public for anybody at that point. You've thrown it away. The number, let's see it.
The numbers are it. Number 1 most logical channel on YouTube. Plot twist. My boy Blue is the actual owner of the channel. Gray just does his bidding.
Yeah. Yeah, Blue's like 12 years old. We just found out like his heart sort of enlarged, so he kind of coughs a little bit. So for his trachea is a little bit, can't breathe as good, but he seems just as active and stuff. But sometimes he's like, a little bit. So I didn't realize Blue was getting so old. I thought he was like 9 or something, but he's 12. All right. So anyways, they get the lead. They collect DNA, and now it's a biological match to the father. So then they arrest Bryan Kohberger. Then they have a warrant to gather his DNA. They put a buccal swab, take his DNA. Then they do a 1-to-1 comparison to the CODIS profile, and boom, it's game over. Right? That's what they did here. Can I get a boom? Did that make sense, everybody? Did I explain the DNA well to you guys? Like how it works, how they work through this? I know that Cairo loves Blue. It's so funny. Like, there's only a few people that when they come over, Blue just immediately is like, oh, yay. And Cairo is one of those people. Yeah. Or is. He hasn't been here for a while, but he came, I think, last year, year before that, maybe. Great, you know if Cass can get info when phone is turned off. Well, I don't think so when it's turned off. Yeah, Blue's pretty awesome. Should I get Blue and put him on the screen for you? Let me get him. Yeah, wait, where is it? Come on, Blue. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Let me get. Oh, he's gonna rub a belly. Here, I actually can do it differently. Hold on a second. I should put it on the main screen. And then here we go. There's Blue. There he is. He's always napping. They both just nap all day, but let's see. If I go like that. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Yeah. Come here, Blue. There he is. Hey, look at that. Hey, come here. Blue. Gotta say hello to Cairo. He's out there. Yeah, God, he's not being cooperative. There he is. Get him, looking right there. Blue, over here. Yeah. Blue's awesome. Okay, Blue, go get him. Go get him, go get him. Okay, I'm gonna go give him one. Alright, I'll give him one. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give Chloe one later, but yeah, Blue's the only one that got one right there. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, anything else, you guys, or? Cannabis to your dog? Jesus, that's crazy. Chloe will get one. She'll get one. Don't worry about it. Hey, Chloe. Yeah. She's wondering, why didn't I get something? Well, all right, guys. So, what did you guys think of that? I know it's sort of similar to what's in the video, but it's different because I'm trying to let you know by showing you that document earlier, this one, how the phone and the white Elantra are consistent with being in the area together when it left and when it got home, but there's the anomaly pings of the phone heading south out of Moscow just after the murders and then all the way around and home. So it's like here at the beginning, then right here heading out of Moscow, and then back here again. That's just, it couldn't be clearer. And then the vehicle driving around absolutely proves that what the probable cause does is it proves that the white Elantra that they're seeing does do what it's saying it does. But I think they made a great case in proving that the white Elantra is Bryan Kohberger's because his phone pinged as it's leaving town. People aren't getting the fact that the phone ping is really important. That when his phone pings.
I sent you an email with my crazy thoughts, party popper.
Yeah, Blue is perfect. Yeah, Blue is like, he just jumps up in people's laps, and once he likes you, he always likes you. Thank you, Kit Kat, and KK said, thank you for doing a late night show. Oh God, I don't want the crazy thoughts. Okay, I probably won't read it. People are saying he might be acquitted, but I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I think he's toast. You know, you never know though with the idiocy in society these days. But yeah. Yeah, no, it means that he did it because 4 people were killed. What was he doing in the area? Yeah, like he was just on a sightseeing trip at 4:20 in the 4:48 in the morning when his phone pinged there. And his DNA was on the sheath in the house. Doesn't that mean he did it? Do you think it was just like just bad luck? Tell you what, if it's just all bad luck for Kohberger, he should go play the lottery because his luck would have to be better than that. I mean, it's like he has a chance to win. Yeah, we saw that one, Kyle. Yeah, we went over the whole thing on the show. You got to watch the show more, you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, did you see the how the office is coming along, Cairo? You want to see it? I got the pictures right here. For those who missed it, because I've been for years I've been saving up money to do the remodel the garage because I've been just taking over the entire living room. Cairo's seen it. It's just like, man, that's all there is in here. Is just there's really not really a living room where you can hang out in. So let's see. Here we go. So that's the door. Remember out on the deck there's a door that goes into the garage? So look at this. Look how cool this is coming around. They've got the drywall in there. That's where the water heater in the corner, but there's going to be a stand-up washing machine, washer and dryer right here. Stacked one. And then there's actually a bathroom. So when you go back to that's the same door that you go into the garage. Then right here is the bathroom, right to the left there. And that's what it looks like. There's a shower. There's going to be a medicine cabinet there. A toilet where that green ladder is, and then a sink right over here. It's really small. This makes it look like it's sort of big, the way I filmed it. And then you go into where the garage used to be. They put in a window here. And then you go back, and this is what it looks like from the end. Inside there, so all the sheetrock is in there now. You can actually see how to move around, and there's going to be a window. Well, let's see, where is it? That's a window right here, and that's a window. So there's this window, that window, and there's going to be 4 lights in there, 2 Ethernet outlets back in that cove over here. Back here is like maybe put a refrigerator back there, electrical panel, and then the like Wi-Fi will be up in there. So isn't that cool? Yeah, I mean it's kind of basic, but you know, it turned a garage that was absolutely nothing. It's pretty expensive, I can tell you that. You know. Yeah, so there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Well, why are they your favorite creator? That means they've always had the propensity to be like that, Brenda. Yeah. It's weird how you guys just believe in people that are just nuts. On this channel, like I'm consistent. You know, this is how we do cases. We try to look at the old newspaper articles. Reporting is kind of what you have to rely on when you're doing those, but at least that's better than just guessing at something. And we try to go over probable cause, and you try to go over if all there are articles, you kind of go over a bunch of articles, and if there's a consistency in there, but they're not all quoting back to the same, source on certain things, then you probably got something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Hopefully one of these days, I don't know what it is. I know this, that what I do on this channel doesn't sell as well as the other, like clowns and just people coming up with random shit over and over and over again. You know, so it's hard. I'm not going to change though, because I think it's shameful to just put something out for sensationalistic reasons, just for views and subs. You know, I mean, like that video that I just put out the other day with the car driving around. Was there any sensational? I mean, I guess you could say the pictures in the house, well, the 3D pictures, just to represent that there was something going on. But the video itself was just absolutely just factual. You know, it's based on the probable cause. Here's a car moving around. It gives you a visual representation. Yeah, and I don't do the clickbaits. I rarely ever put like an arrow or something in there or whatever. Not to say that that's clickbait, but clickbait's when you have a title that's, you know, like people called it clickbait the other day when I said Kohberger did it. You know. Yeah. Who's AT? Is it possible that AT is not saying that there is no... I don't like double negatives. I don't know what you say. You got to rewrite that whole thing. I don't even know what it means. Alright. Yeah, you have to rewrite. I don't even know what you wrote there. You had like a double negative. It just made it confusing. Just send it to me on Facebook or something. It's not. It didn't seem that interesting. Wish I knew how wide of an area a cell phone ping covers. Well, these to be. Well, Cairo's in here. Hey, Cairo, how far does a cell phone ping? The coverage. Hey, it's Jim Lawn and.
It's a house.
It's a house, he said.
It's a house.
I thought it was like 3 to 5 miles normally, but it can go further. And I think it's the closest cell tower to the phone usually picks it up. Normally, it like goes to that one. I don't know how it determines which one's stronger and so forth. Right, we know that. That he was throwing away trash in somebody else's garbage can with gloves on. Yeah, we said that earlier. So you don't need to say, come on, folks. Yeah. Yeah, why would he do that, everybody? Why would Bryan Kohberger throw away his trash in the neighbor's garbage can? But only his trash, right? Just kind of ask yourself that question. Visual and pink. Yeah, I keep telling people, how many white Elantras do you think are moving around at 350 even in Pullman, Washington? How many? Sure, let's just say Pullman has 120 white Elantras or something. Why would there be... how many were driving around at 2:50 in the morning? And then also white Elantras driving around at 3:26 in Moscow, Idaho. Like there's just this white Elantra convention. Hey, do you have a white Elantra? Yeah, I've got one. Hey, let's drive them around tonight. It's really fun. Yay! You drive yours over in Pullman. I'll drive mine over in Moscow. It's going to be really fun. And yeah, we'll just all talk about, man, wasn't that cool that one time when we all were driving around our white Elantras? Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but you... I don't even know what she's saying. I don't care what Ann Taylor's saying. She's just somebody trying to help her client out. They have DNA. That's how they located Bryan Kohberger. Whether they've got the evidence themselves yet, I don't know. But they have a whole... They're trying to... Here's what they're trying to do. I think the defense is trying to... it is kind of weird that the FBI... Well, it's not weird, but the FBI... I actually... who was... yeah, Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick was on. And exactly what was said on the PCA regarding... Or the other document, I think, regarding DNA... That more recent document that came out, the battle back and forth about DNA, was totally accurate in how you do it. Okay? That is how you do it. So apparently the FBI removes their sort of work product from the system, but you still have the tree that was built out. Yeah. Yeah, but your email doesn't say any of that, KK. So just send me something else on Facebook instead of taking up the... Just speculating randomly in the chat. I have no idea what your... it was Atlanta meetup in Moscow. Yeah, it was... hey, if you have a white Elantra, let's all just get zany and drive around. It's going to be awesome. And when people say there wasn't snow on the ground, they're full of crap. I just showed the other day on the show how there's snow sort of in the grass area and stuff on the very same day of the murders. Okay? There was snow back there. So you can imagine in sort of a dark, secluded parking area where sun doesn't hit all day, that if you had plowed snow off to the side, it'd be sitting there. And then at night, frost comes in because it was literally in the 20s out there. I don't even know what you're talking about with Ann Taylor. Did she do an article lately? I don't follow all that kind of stuff because it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't, it's like Ann Taylor, defense attorney, yay. They're not going to say anything helpful to the case, are they? No. It wasn't the storm yet, but there was already snow on the ground, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. The amount of snow that is in this video here is a really small amount. Look at this. So imagine there have been... See how on the ground here, there's just these little like sparkling, frosty little areas. This over here looks like what you would do if you plowed it off to the side. And given the fact that that is way back in this dark, it's right back here, and sun probably doesn't sit there and nail this area all day because of the tall apartment buildings. It's just going to sit there. I saw pictures where there was snow right on the ground back here the day of the murders. So where is Ann Taylor saying what you're saying she said that's insulting? Where's the quote? That's what I want. I guess I need to look at it since you guys keep talking about it. Oh boy. Informant. There's always an informant. That secret informant. Yeah, it's not on the probable cause. So if somebody does have that we have an informant, let me know. Somebody send me an email with the page it's on. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh. Just some image. No matter what came first, the car or the genetic genealogy, the investigation has provided precious little. There's no connection between Mr. Kohberger and the victims. There's no explanation. Yeah, we read this when we went over this. There's no explanation for the total lack of DNA evidence from the victims in Mr. Kohberger's apartment office. But that's just her saying what she's saying. We don't know if what she's saying is true. In essence, though, the lack of disclosure of their motion is to protect the genetic genealogy investigation. Right. I think the DNA is really important. After you think about it, and they're trying to get it taken out of the case, like it's the fruit from a forbidden tree type of thing.
What does BK's spirit box say to him, Skipper?
Let's see. Hold on. Let's listen. At a hut. Stupid, delicate little buddy, Skipper. Man. Batshit. Now, everyone in here could hear batshit at the end, right? Meaning batshit crazy. That's what it's talking about. The ghosts are saying that Bryan Kohberger is batshit crazy. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. Listen. Listen. But who cares, KK? It's just such a meaningless little thing. It's not a, Man, here we go. Listen. Right there. Batshit right at the end. We could all hear it. Right, she's just not getting the information. Yep, we got it. We read that when we read it originally. Yeah. And she's going to complain and say that the FBI deleted those documents, the original documents. And that's why we said on the show, well, why don't you do this? Take the DNA sequence, give it to a random forensic genetic genealogy lab, but make it blind so they don't know what they're doing. Just say, hey, we've got this unknown person here. Can you tell us who this is? And see if they come up with the exact same person. That would be a good way to do it, to avoid, like a judge might go, yeah, where's the discovery part of the DNA process? Where is it? Where is it? And they want to get that thrown out because they know that that one piece of information links him directly being inside the house, along with his car pinging. He's in deep trouble here. I know you care a lot about a lot of ridiculous things, but that's cool. Don't worry about it. All right. Yeah, I just don't think of it like that. Let's just wait. Don't you think that the grand jury had really way more information than even the probable cause has? That's why that was being blocked. The information that the grand jury had, and his attorneys probably know what the grand jury saw, and they're trying to come up with all this hocus pocus stuff that was mentioned above to try to get people to look in another direction. Those aren't the droids you're looking for. Yeah, I did say that, Kyle. I did say that. Seems so far he's not smart enough to clean everything. Well, how do you know, though? How do you know he didn't? He had 6 weeks to sit in there and clean his car. So you are a Bryan Kohberger is innocent person, right, KK? Right. So, because if you think that if there's no blood in the car, then he didn't do it. Is that what you're saying? Don't you think there's a way that you could kill somebody, like from behind? If you cut their throat, the blood goes out, and it minimizes the amount of blood that you get on yourself. Now, if he's hacking them 20, 30 times, it's almost impossible to avoid getting spatter on you. I don't. There's no more calling in, KK. There's no more calling in. Look at Kyle up there. Let's see when that account was created. How much you want to bet? Let's see. And it was created. Wow, that's an old one. But look at the name though. Something's off about that one, Kyle. What was the point of your last message up there, Kyle? Can you explain that one? Yeah. I said I'd read it after the show. But I decided to look anyways, and it was confusing because it had a double negative in there. the original email said, hold on, it said, is it possible that AT, as if we're all supposed to, like, hey, AT, have all the little names, just say the people's names, everybody. We're not as cool as you guys. So is it possible that Ann Taylor is not saying that there is no DNA evidence? Okay. No, you don't. You cut people's hair, KK. No, we don't. We don't all know who AT is. We just say Ann Taylor. You know? Like, you're one of the people that would literally say out loud LE. Yeah, we don't do that.
Rick.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to get rid of these idiots that show up in here. Where's that one? And Kyle. See you later, buddy. Okay. Yeah, we all know who Ann Taylor is, just not AT. Yeah. We don't sit around going, let's write down acronyms so we can act really cool when we type in. We go to Facebook pages and we can have these really short sentences. Do you think AT told BK that DM was coming over that night? Do you think LE knows that BK told AT that the DNA was on the... Oh, give me a break. God. I remember I think it was the Delphi case, they had this list of abbreviations of all the people, and I was actually put on that list. GH, a true crime YouTuber. That's not what I complain about. See, that's what I'm saying, KK. You always come back with your dumb replies to try to act like you're really sleuthy and you're getting me on something. It's still the same thing. Typing in AT is the same as typing in Ann Taylor. It doesn't. It's more like when you type in paragraphs of information, where I get an email that's 6,000 words. Okay. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Good Lord. Why are we people so strange? Jeez, I wish these people could just socialize and act normal. Who's Susu? Why do you do those comments, KK? I mean, it's really weird. It's almost like you're trying to, like, troll or something like that. It's weird. Huh? What are you talking about? You have an ex-girlfriend that looks like KK? Maybe it is, sad cowboy. Gray reminds me of Good Morning Vietnam when he used only abbreviations. Oh, is that what it sounded like? Yeah, me and Cairo always joke around about the abbreviations. Like everybody does. You know what the word? This is when you know somebody is ridiculous. Is when they say, "Hey, did you guys hear that LE was in town? Looking at that case?" And you go, "Who's LE?" No, LE. Yeah. Who's LE? Oh, and they say, "Oh, law enforcement." Oh, yeah. Well, when you're talking, type in, say out loud, law enforcement. But, if you're typing and you're trying to save time, you can type in LE. Because everybody knows LE because it's just sort of in our wording. But, like, when you have a case and there's these people's names in it, that, like, everybody doesn't know every single abbreviation for everybody's name in a case. See what I'm saying? Yeah. But yes, KK, we get what you're saying. You're saying that she said, well, what is it? You're saying that she said that they just don't have the DNA evidence so they can go through it. And probably law enforcement's probably trying to keep it from them as long as possible because they're going to try to go find an expert to discredit the DNA. You know, that's what they're going to do. Right. Yeah, but that we said that when we read the originally a week ago or 2 weeks ago. When that came out, we read it. That's what we said. So I'm not sure why it's something that is breaking news. What happened to your hearts, lady? Well, I wanted Lady Latuka to remove the hearts because you can't tag her with them. You have to go looking for the heart. And she didn't used to have them, right? So now I can say, hey, at Lady Latuka. See? Lactuka. Right there, look. See? Boom. Now I can tag her. Right. So if you're one of those people out there that has an emoji at the beginning of your name, you aren't going to be able to tag anybody. Be tagged by anybody. It's going to be hard. There's literally a guy dressed as a clown doing true crime, and he has... I know, isn't that amazing? 250,000 subscribers. And people, you should read the comments. Oh, great sleuthing, man. Great. Oh, this is awesome. It's embarrassing to be a human reading those things. And you go, oh, you're just jealous. Well, you know, I guess in some ways it's like, man, wouldn't it be great to have 250,000 people who like more logical reasoning than just somebody dressed as a clown? Yeah, we've said that a million times, KK. Yeah, you missed that show, I guess. We went over that whole document release. I think it's possible they found some DNA in the car, but even if they didn't, it doesn't mean that anything to me. There were 6 weeks, and apparently he was like, I don't know, on that one documentary or whatever show that was, it seems like they were saying he was cleaning his car all the time. So if you didn't bring a lot of blood in there, it's possible that if you just spend hours and hours meticulously cleaning, that you could do the job, you know. I'd like to see what his internet searches were in those 6 weeks, wouldn't you guys? How to clean blood off of a... You know what he probably did? Remember that one case where the person typed in, how to dispose of a body that's 5'4" and 120 pounds? Just like my wife, he said. You know, remember the guy, how stupid it is? What if Kohberger typed in, how to clean blood off a steering wheel of a white Elantra? A 2015 one? That's how stupid that one comment was. Hey, how do I clean blood off of a 2015 white Elantra? That's probably in the on his computer. Mm-hmm. I just think the defense is trying to do whatever they can. But KK, I did read what you sent in, okay? I wasn't going to because I knew it would be something like this. Just sort of nitpicking on a thing. To me, it just doesn't... I don't really care what the defense is saying here. Whenever you get a defense attorney, they do whatever it takes to try to get their client off, and sometimes they're accurate and right and so forth, but I'm just looking at the probable cause and it seems to match up perfectly. She's focusing in on these things, and she's trying to get the DNA thrown out so that, because that's the one thing that puts him in the house. Without that, it's still a really powerful circumstantial case that he's driving around, and then later in the day, his phone and his face and the same vehicle they've been tracking are all put together. See, that's something, again, I left out of the second story that I told. And so, you know, that's sort of like the general thing is, if you're just looking at it, is that around 2:45, his phone pings, and a white Elantra is seen driving around. Then at 3:26, a white Elantra is seen over here. Then at 4:48, at 28 minutes after the murders, after the car speeding away, Kohberger's phone pings right there, and it pings going around. and then it pings back in this area at 5:30, exactly when a white Elantra is seen moving around in the town. Okay. Then, later in the day, his phone connects to the Wi-Fi here at Cup of Joe, and the white Elantra was seen filmed by a vehicle from this building right here, filmed the white Elantra. So you got the white Elantra and Bryan Kohberger's phone right here. Then that same white Elantra drives over to Albertsons right here, and he gets out of the car at 12:46, and when he walks in, lo and behold, there is Bryan Kohberger linking his face, the same suspect white Elantra, and his phone. Do you get it? I mean, just that alone right there, everybody. So now they're all together, and now you start putting that with the rest of the information from earlier in the day, and it's game over. Yeah. So since she sent it to me, we'll just read the whole thing. The part that she... Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. The part that she put a red on says, no matter what came first, the car or the genetic genealogy, the investigation has provided precious little. There is no connection between Mr. Kohberger and the victims. There is no explanation, except for the DNA. For the total lack of DNA evidence from the victims. And guess what? There's also when they say total lack of, maybe that means they said that there's zero. In Mr. Kohberger's apartment, office, home, or vehicle. In essence, through the lack of disclosure and their motion to protect the genetic genealogy investigation, the state is hiding its entire case. So that she's saying their entire case is the touch DNA on the buckle. The state apparently thinks they need not explain how they came to think that it was Mr. Kohberger's DNA on the sheath. See, this is what they're trying to get away with here. They're saying the state apparently thinks that they need not explain how they came to think that it was Mr. Kohberger's DNA on the sheath. Okay, because they haven't disclosed that to him yet. And presumably the defense is expected to accept a face value that the sheath had touched DNA, just waiting for testing by all the FBI myriad of resources. So now she's trying to make it seem like a conspiracy theory. We went over all this stuff. Additionally, the defense is to guess whether the state focused its investigation on Mr. Kohberger. I think the first day we went over the first half, and then the second day we went over the first part and this part again. This part the first time, because we didn't go over this the first time. I kind of remember how it went. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Mr. Kohberger does not accept that his defense does not need this information. Yeah, so it says, the defense is to guess whether the state focused its investigation on Mr. Kohberger via bizarrely complex DNA tree experiment or through its faulty identification of the vehicle involved in this case. So they're talking about the 2013 and then it became 2015 Elantra, and they're talking about the DNA because those are the two things, right? All right. Anyways. Thanks for sending that, but we did go over that the other day. Just saying, you have heavy penalties when it comes to mixing, recycling. Yeah, probably. KK, I'm sure that's what it is, and it works for some people. You notice that? You notice how that's what these weirdos are hanging their hats on. And by the way, I'm trying to be more open. When people send emails, I try to be more open to it. But I sometimes I like to read them after the show's over because during the show they just sort of throw me off because I'll be going. This wasn't too bad because I was already done. But in the middle of a show when I get it, hey, great, check your email, and it just ruins the flow of the show, Yeah, but it works. There's a lot of really dumb people in society. I mean, don't you guys put a 1 if you think there's a lot of dumb people in society? Ray, it doesn't mean they're dumb. It just means that, I guess it does mean they're dumb. So listen, everybody. If you are, let's say, we talked about this the other night, but I want you guys to think about it, the newer people watching. When you go to serve on a jury, the people who can't get off of jury duty shouldn't be allowed to serve on the jury. It's kind of this weird double-edged sword, right? So you go in there and you get your little letter in the mail, and if you can't get off of that jury duty, you shouldn't be able to. That should be the first test. Like, oh wow, they didn't even attempt to get off of this thing. They didn't get off of jury duty. Gray, that's not fair. There's a lot of people that want to serve. Yeah, I think we all do too. If it's just you walk in there and you're guaranteed to get a spot in the cases that day and you're out of there, okay? But when you work from home, it's hard to do that.
Thank you for readdressing it. It definitely needs to be heard by more.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sending it. Sorry for being an ass about it when you sent it in. All right. Let's see. That's right. Common sense, people. Common sense. If you don't... And also, again, when you're sitting around in the jury waiting, if when you go to jury duty, look around at the people. The guy in the corner with a wife beater shirt on and sweatpants with spaghetti sauce dripped all over the shirt that he's wearing. And, and the shirt goes way up above his belly, you know what I mean? And then the other one, I mean, what happened to the days where people actually wore, something nice to the courthouse, It's bizarre. Bizarre world out there. Yeah, I've gone in. I had to go in once because they wouldn't let me out of it because I had gotten out of it so many times. Wazzy Trisha still got nothing. That's not even a message. That's her name. Ozzy Trisha still got nothing. By the way, everybody, the entire box of candy that was sent by Miss Angels is pretty much gone at this point. You had to test out all the different types. I did get on my bike and burn 400 calories, but I'm sure that wasn't even close to enough. When you're sucking down 50 different types of things like Tim Tams, this mint one, these little gummy bear things that are really good too. Yeah. Yeah, see? I one thing I regret is one time I was could have been on a grand jury, but I wasn't able to. I didn't do it at the time. No, that's a good one. Now, see, this is my mom. This is what my mom said, and that's why I am who, you can tell I got her genetics. So she went into a trial one time and said, they said something like, well, everybody, he's been arrested 15 times for other crimes, and objection, Your Honor. This is in, voir dire, And, something the person said. It was bad. And the judge looked, or maybe they were even, no, I think maybe she was on a jury. And then, so she was on a jury, and the judge said, will that affect any of your thoughts? And my mom said, yes, and anybody who says it won't is a liar, okay? Will that affect how you judge the case? That you knew that they've committed 3 other murders or whatever, right? And she said, yes, Judge, and anybody who says it won't affect what they think is a liar. And that's absolutely true. That's not true, Gray. Some people can compartmentalize the fact that he killed 3 others. Well, you're lying too when you say that, okay? Nobody can just unhear. You can't unring the bell. That's one of those things that's almost, if you say at trial, it's grounds for mistrial almost immediately. And I think that's what they're trying to, again, with the DNA, they're trying to make it, they're going to try to get it dismissed because the prosecution can't present the sort of the working data that was used to develop it because the FBI deleted it. And if they somehow are successful with that, it's like the fruit from a forbidden tree now, because then it led to different things like, okay, the DNA matched here, then you collected the... But here's the thing, everybody. The DNA matched. Okay? His father, his DNA matched. So regardless of that, but that's what they would say, and then it's a fruit from a forbidden tree. Then I think there should be something, well, can we get an independent company to independently verify without knowing? It's a double blind, and we'll just give it to some sheriff's department out there who's going to send them a sample, and they want to know who this belongs to. Anyways. All right, you guys, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I was on longer than I wanted to be. So thank you to Cheryl, Don, Zoe413, Nessie B, Lisa Valenzuela, Killing Me Softly. Next name is With This Song. Amber Maiden, Linda Howell, Geek Mom 2, Revengeance, Deborah Thornburg with a cat eye, Lady Scarlet, Annabelle Stealth with a... Well, oh, she put that face in there that's just the flat eyes and the... Aaron, Mazzy T, Danielle, John Miller, Aaron, Dreaming of... Wow, that's almost as long as Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming sub Crystal. It says Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. Teresa, Kat Bennett, Cairo, KK, Kitty Cat, Lil Mama Brown, Jim Lawn, Mr. Zeep, Death of Chocolate, a new member, KK, and Ozzy Trisha. Hey, before, maybe I'll do a, I'll give away 5 memberships. Where's my live? Got my own page, doesn't even have my live on it. What a joke. My own page doesn't even, and there I am saying that. All right, here we go. And thanks to Gray for donating 5 memberships. I'd rather have you guys do it. Wow, look at Geek Mom. You're not a member? Jesus. God. And Naven Man. Sharp Tack, Ziggy, Stephanie. Make sure to check some of those. See if they're trolls. Yeah. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for being here tonight. I got to go stay up for another hour getting ready. I was already started working on the tomorrow's Amber Heard getting cross-examined. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, see you guys tomorrow, everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope again, just having this tonight's show for the people who really give a damn about factual information, that you were able to look at it and say, you know, boom. I mean, it's right there in front of your face. Thanks, teacher Shauna. Nice open discussion forum. No woke bullshit refreshing. Yeah, we don't have wokeness here. We say murdered. We say sexual assault. We say suicide. We say all those words because that's what they're called. You know, there's no reason to, nobody who's been sexually assaulted, when you say essayed, does it help them at all? Okay, so when you hear somebody claiming, oh, we're trying to be polite here by calling it essay, it's not. Because as soon as you say essayed, what goes on in their mind? They go, oh, sexual assault. Yeah. It doesn't help them at all. It's a bullshit thing. They're trying to avoid YouTube not monetizing their show.
Nice open discussion forum.
And I guess that makes sense, but, you know, I pretty much just rely on the super chats, and then when I make a video, then I get ad revenue. But live shows, you can forget it. You know, I'm not going to cave in to that. So, right. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing
Look,
this
there's a
crime
trigger
thing
bunny,
for quite a while
everybody.
now.
It's a trigger
And
bunny.
during this whole time,
Look at
I
that.
have not seen one person.
It's a trigger bunny, honey. You ain't funny. I like a gummy. I'm no dummy. With my bunny, with that trigger bunny, he's my funny honey, honey, honey.
On a stretcher, if you try and play me like an old projector.
Thanks, animator. You gonna come later?
Gonna give another lecture. Crime collector.
Played basketball with Swinnator?
I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector.
Interceptor. And I'm Neil Metal Spectre with a vector.
On his pector, with all respect, ya. Just remember, I've a temper fucking check, ya.
I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll
serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Hey, Gray. Hey, Gray.
Get right back to work.
Do you think Bryan Kohberger is innocent? Because I was looking at this guy. He looked like a clown. And
Would you shut the hell up, man? You're going to watch a clown?
yeah, it was really cool. You had the spiders in his eyeballs and everything. It was really cool. It made me think everything he said was real.
So you think a clown? Wow. Okay. Well, you keep watching that, Mary Lou. You keep going. All right, everybody. See you later.
God, Gray, that isn't very nice.
Man, are you upset, Mary Lou?
No, not really. Good night, everybody.
You know, you sound like Amber Heard. That's what she does. A little fake cry and immediately has a different face.
Oh, weird. I think I got it from her. All right, see you guys later.
All right, see you tomorrow, everybody. Be safe out there.